Like to call the Plaquemine Parish Council meeting to order. Roll call.
201. I can't.
We have, okay, so we have
You got to vote.
we have, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. The 7-member president and, Councilwoman McCarthy and Councilmember LaFrance are not present at the present time. Can you get your computer, Brad?
Brian, you got the front? Turn his mic on.
Please stand for the prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm getting ready to do it right now. I just wanted, before we get started, Councilwoman McCarthy is here and Councilwoman LaFrance showed up before we started the meeting, so we just want to acknowledge their presence. Okay.
No, right, that's on the floor. That's it. That's it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll ask for a suspension. Representative Bro would like to speak on Amendment 2 election that's coming up starting Saturday, early voting. So I'll ask for a suspension of the rules to add them to the agenda.
Second.
Moving second. Any comments from the audience? We don't need no comments from the audience for this, right? No. Administration? Machine is open for voting. Suspension, rather. Okay. Mr. Bro, Amendment 2, 2 minutes, 2 for 2.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Council. Thank you for letting me speak here today. Thank you to the people of Plaquemines Parish. I don't know if I want to look this way and speak directly to the people or speak to the Council, because I'm really here to talk to the people. But I really appreciate y'all letting me interject y'all's meeting here, and I might need a little more than 2 minutes, but I'm going to try and get it as quick because there's a lot of information here, and I think it's a lot of good information. All right, really good for Plaquemines Parish. So look, this weekend we'll start early voting. There will be 4 state amendments on the March 29th ballot. Again, early voting starts this weekend. Everyone has a right to vote. I hope they do go out and vote. And and you can do whatever you want on 1, 3, and 4. But as a Plaquemines Parish resident or a resident of my District 105, I would ask you, please vote yes on Amendment number 2. Amendment number 2 completes the tax reform that we did as a legislature this past November. Just so you know, I've been working very hard for you in District 105. We had 5 sessions last year up there in Baton Rouge, and from what I'm told, it was the first time ever there's been 5. There's been 4 a few times, but we had 5. We've been working very hard. We've been trying to address a number of issues, and one of those was the competitiveness of the state of Louisiana, and that's our tax reform. Many of our definitions, especially on sales tax, date back to the Huey Long days of 1933 and have not been updated since then. We did that legislatively in November, and actually as of January 1, if you work and garner an income, your income taxes went down by 1.25% starting January 1, so you may have noticed a little bit more on your paycheck. What happens on Amendment number 2 with the election on March 29th, and then again early voting beginning this weekend, is several things. It does several very, very good things, and it completes the reforms that we did in November. One of which, if you're over 65, your standard income tax deduction will double. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing, we pay off about $2 billion in long-term retirement debt in the teachers' retirement system, and that will allow a permanent pay raise for teachers of $2,000 and a permanent pay raise of $1,000 for all support staff at the public schools in the state of Louisiana. For the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, something like that, there's been this stipend where the teachers get $2,000 and it may not, and there's budgetary issues and whatnot. A vote yes on amendment number 2 will give the teachers a permanent $2,000 pay raise and public school staff a $1,000 permanent pay raise. And then amendment number 2 will also put limits on the growth of government. It also puts a hard cap on future state income tax. It could never be higher than 3.75 without a constitutional amendment. And then what it does most importantly for Plaquemines Parish, and I can't stress this enough, and I think this is a generational chance for us as a parish as a whole, and I really ask you to go vote yes on amendment number 2, is that it removes the severance cap. As many of you know, Plaquemines Parish, I believe from the 50s through the 90s, was the #1 producer of oil and gas in the state of Louisiana. We've done our fair share. We do a lot of work down here. People generally only come down here to hunt fish or work in oil and gas, right? The state of Louisiana issues a severance tax on anything taken from our natural resources, i.e. oil and gas. That tax in Plaquemines Parish really averages about $60 million every year. That's taxed on all these wells, gas production, you have it, and it goes to Baton Rouge and it goes into pot. The local government under the current law gets 20% of that severance tax wherever it's taken out of, right? So for every $100 of tax generated in Plaquemines Parish would get $20. However, what's always been the rule is that there's been this thing called the severance cap. And the severance cap puts a certain amount on that, and that amount is $1.2 million. So Plaquemines Parish, on average, always hits that cap basically the first quarter of every year. We hit that cap and we're going to get no more than that $1.2 million. If you vote yes on amendment number 2, that cap is no longer. So what does that mean? That means this body right here of councilmen will basically have, on average, about an additional $10 million to spend in local government. So instead of that money going to Baton Rouge, it'll stay right here in Plaquemines where that money and that tax is created for the hard work that we do as citizens down here. And again, as I've told you during my election, it's really not about up the road or down the road or East Bank or West Bank or all these different things that we have down here. It's really about what happens here and what happens in Baton Rouge and what goes in Baton Rouge. And this will have more money stay down here in Plaquemines Parish for our benefit, for the hard work that we do, and for the natural resources that come out of our land down here. So I can't stress enough, please vote yes on amendment number 2. And look, if you're like me and you have friends and family that may not live in Plaquemines Parish any longer, but live somewhere else in the state, contact them. Tell them to vote. This helps our parish immensely. I cannot stress to you just the generational chance that we have here to vote yes on amendment number 2. So please do that. And that's really all I have. I would love to take questions, but please contact my office or email my office or stop by if you want, 8114 Highway 23. I'd love to talk to you about amendment number 2 if you have more questions or anything else going on. But unfortunately, I'm actually going to another meeting at JEDCO to talk about our lovely Peters Road bypass to try and get more regional buy-in on that infrastructure improvement that we need so dearly. So I don't mean to seem rushed, but I actually kind of am because juggling a bunch of different things here. So thanks again for letting me speak, council members. And please, members of District 105, especially Plaquemines Parish, vote yes on amendment number 2, and you can do it as early as this weekend with early voting.
Thank you so much. You did it very timely, too.
Almost a little bit more than
Oh,
2
you
minutes.
did good timing.
Thank y'all so much. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Back to the order of our agenda.
Item 2, executive session, there are none. 3, proclamations, there are none. 4, administration updates. Corps of Engineers presentation on NOV levy system update.
Just real quick on the administration side, I just want to report on 2 things. Earlier in the week, there were a couple of town halls. One of the questions at the one in Port Sulphur on Tuesday, they were asking about the borrow pits. We collect about $81,320 a year on an annual basis and that goes into the general fund. So there's something that maybe we need to look at next year as far as where that money goes and how we use that money. And I'm being told that the Barnes Electric is at Port Sulphur. They have all the equipment and everything that they need to finish that project today. Our inspectors are on site. So what they're wanting to do, as soon as they're finished, they'll inspect it. Then Entergy will be there tomorrow to go ahead and do the switch over. So that'll bring that up online. So there we go.
Introduce yourself and to us.
Yes, sir.
This part of your report, Mr. Hinckley, this gentleman, okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hashim Al-Rahahle. I am with the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm a project manager at United States Army Corps of Engineers, New Orleans District. We would like to thank parish residents, President Hinckley, Ms. Kim, and council members for inviting us today to speak on behalf of New Orleans to Venice. Can we have the PowerPoint presentation up if possible, or would I have to do anything on my end?
No, I just.
Great, thank you. Next slide, please. Or I can control it by my, okay. So project background. New Orleans to Venice originally authorized by Section 203 of Flood Control Act of 1962. Total emergency supplement appropriations are $1.4 billion. Portions of the NFL reaches are currently designed and slash constructed to 20 to 25 years level of reduction of risk reduction elevation. 23 of the 29 contracts are completed, 6 are currently ongoing. Disaster Relief Supplemental Appropriation Act DRSA work 2022 provided additional $783 million. And moving on to ongoing construction. So NOV 10, which provided 3 miles out of 12.3 miles of levee stretch. It's a 50-year level of risk reduction. It was awarded in 2019, and it is currently actually 100% complete. Sorry, I apologize. These slides are actually from February 13th. And turf establishment was completed. Final inspection was conducted on the 18th of February 2025, and the NCC was signed on February 28th, 2025. The contractor on this job was Philway Construction.
Can you let us know what NCC means?
It's whenever we turn over the project from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers back over to the non-federal sponsor. So after we NCC the project, the non-federal sponsor, which in this case would be Terrebonne, Plaquemines Parish government, will have to handle it and maintain it.
What's the acronym for NCC?
If I recall correctly,
Narrative completion, construction completion.
narrative construction completion.
Okay.
And before you hand it over, do we go inspect it and make sure it's done right?
Yes, sir.
If you find anything wrong, you're gonna fix it with your money?
Yes, sir. We always do.
That's already been performed, sir.
I don't know about that, because I seen some levies still ain't.
Right.
We will keep all the questions to the end if that's okay.
We can address it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And any questions that you might have, please fire away. We did conduct a final inspection. The non-federal sponsor, which is Plaquemines Parish, was
Identify who you are,
present.
ma'am?
Excuse me?
Can you identify who?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. My name is April Falcon Villa. I also work for the New Orleans District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I'm a branch chief at the district under the Program Management Division. Under my preview is Plaquemines Parish, New Orleans to Venice, also West Bank and vicinity, and the SELA drainage projects. So yes, we did conduct a final inspection where the non-fed sponsor was present. We do this is routine for us. We don't do it in a vacuum. And so they were present and accepted the project.
And to add to what Ms. Villa just spoke of, we also have CPRA representatives at the final inspections. And if they have any comments and concerns, we do address them. And once those concerns are addressed, we do conduct an additional inspection with CPRA and the government representatives, which in this case is Plaquemines Parish. Any additional questions?
Wait till my hand.
I apologize about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Moving on to the next reach, which is in this case La Rose to Myrtle Grove, 5A1, awarded in 2021. Contract status is currently at 68%. Work consists of levee construction, flood walls for utility pipelines, and drainage structure north of Wilkinson Pump Station, and new drainage canals, new drainage canal excavation, which was completed, and new drainage structure. The required NCC date on this would be September 2027. And the contractor on this is Green Up Cajun. Moving on to, yes,
That project you talked about from Loretta C.
yes, sir.
To Murder Group. Are we still moving forward with that P-trap?
The P-trap? I'm not aware of a P-trap, but I can double check with my upper management and my colleagues at work to ask for additional information in regards to that P-trap.
Are we anticipating, okay,
Councilmember
go ahead.
LaFrance, please pull your mic down.
Are we anticipating building another pump station?
At this moment, I do not, I'm not aware of any pump stations to be constructed, additional pump stations to be constructed, but I can double check with my management and leadership to confirm that.
The P-trap was supposed to be installed under that freshwater diversion.
So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers work is not connected to that freshwater diversion project.
But it's going to affect you. So you don't know if they're going to build another pump station on the north side of it.
If the diversion project does go through, and when it does, they would have to accommodate the levee that's already existing when they do come in. So we would have to work hand in hand with the non-federal sponsor, which would be in this case CPRA and Plaquemines Parish, to approve a pump station. In this case, I'm assuming.
Okay.
And I can double check on all of that, of course, for you and reach back out.
Please do.
Just give me 1 second so I can write down.
taking notes, Ashley.
Okay, great. Thank you, April.
Need a note taker.
Any questions about NOV 5A1 La Rose to Myrtle Grove?
Laura C.
French.
Oh.
They didn't know how to spell.
All right, this one I can say probably. Myrtle Grove to Wood Park. So awarded in 2020. Contract status is 77%. The work consists of levee construction along the vicinity of Audubon Road, placement of additional levee embankment from Myrtle Grove Road to the Sheriff's Station near Wood Park, drainage canal excavations, and we got a road ramp at Audubon Road and Marina Road. And we also have 2 floodgate structures, one on the west and one on the east. The NCC schedule for August 2028, that's what we have as of the schedule, as of the most recent schedule. Yes, sir.
What are you planning on doing with the existing levee?
With the existing levee?
Yes.
The existing levee, during construction, as of, at this moment, we do have the existing levee there. We're not trying to damage the existing levee. And when the non-federal sponsor, Plaquemines Parish in this case, reaches out to us and they have any concerns about the existing levee, we do address it. Our contractor is within that area and we do acknowledge that. So if there is any issues that our contractor is causing, Plaquemines Parish reaches out to us and we do address those issues. So the existing levee will stay.
I'm asking all these questions because these levees is in my district.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But If I recall correctly, the existing levee is only at elevation 5, and the new levee that we are putting out there is elevation 15, so.
But at the end of the day, we still have to maintain
Yes, sir.
existing levees into the future.
Yes, sir. Any additional questions about 5A2, Mellow Grove to Wood Park? Okay, moving on to Wilkinson Pump Station. So Wilkinson Pump Station, the original contract was awarded in 2013, and there was 2 NCCs for this project, one in 2017 and one in 2019. A new contract was recently awarded to address issues at the pump station, and this contract was awarded in 2025. And in this case, the contractor only mobilized, and the contractor is J-Stars.
What is the issues that they was having at the pump station?
The original issues or the most recent?
Both.
Both. Okay, so that's not what I meant. Sorry. What I meant is we're still addressing the original issues that we have. I do not know off the top of my head the exact issue, the original issue, but I do know that we are working on restoring all 4 pump stations to the 100% capacity. In this case, at this moment, we have 3 pumps that are currently working, 2 of them at 75% capacity, which is pump 3 and 4, and pump 1 is out of service, and pump number 2 is fully operational. We have a service contract to address issues that were brought up by our non-federal sponsor and CPRA at the final inspection, and we're still working on addressing those issues at this moment.
And this is a brand-new pumping station.
Yes, sir.
Brand new. We was having issues with the gearboxes, am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And did those gearboxes get replaced?
No, that's what, so, did you enter into a current contract
Yes, sir.
recently?
We have a current contract with J-Star, and they are currently out there working on addressing the issues.
The issue was the contract had ended, and then nobody could come back, and then we were kind of trying to piecemeal together. A few rain events back, we had to get someone to go out there and get it back going. Dealing with they did assist us in that. They worked well with us. They're supposed to reimburse us for that, and then that's the first I heard that they did now get their new contract going, so that's a good thing. But it has been the same issues since day one.
So are we using the same type of gearboxes, or are we using better gearboxes?
I don't think they've been,
Replacing,
it's gear ratio issues is what it is. If they have a certain ratio, then it causes the engines to overheat. If they reduce the RPMs, it doesn't pump as the max volume. Those are the kind of issues they have. The gearbox is not failing. It's the ratios are not adding up with the RPMs of the engines. It's, you got your engine runs the gearbox, and that turns the pump. So that's where the issues
we had
are.
a lot of vibration.
Well, sometimes that's caused by all kind of different things. But the biggest issue was their contract for maintenance on it that they had expired, and it hadn't been renewed yet. So that's good news if they've renewed that and they've got someone back out there working on it.
There you go, buddy. We got a machinist right here.
There you go.
Any additional questions in regards to Wilkinson Pump Station?
Keep on asking about questions, huh?
I don't mind them. If I can answer them, sir, I will answer them. All right, moving on to 6A1.
The only thing I would make a recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Anytime you build a pumping station, please install rakes. Please build them with rakes.
Okay.
You understand the rakes that comes out? And
Yeah, the
pull
screens,
debris out?
yes.
Because
Just one
presently,
second.
we have to take an excavator and pull that out.
Yes, sir.
I got a question about old pumps. Right now, if one goes out, we gotta fix it. If I remember right, the city of New Orleans, their pumps rusted apart, and y'all went in and fixed them all.
Which pump?
Water pumps, pumping the city of New Orleans out, rusted shut, that they couldn't pump any water out, and y'all went back in and replaced them at no cost to the city. So are we gonna get the same thing as rebuilding pumps at no cost to us.
Sir, if you're referring to the permanent closure complex, pumps at the 17th Street Canal, London, and Orleans outfall, those pumps were actually still under warranty. There's a 35-year warranty on those pumps, and the JV is fixing those, and we're under litigation now to assume all of that cost back. So I can't speak too much to it, but there are definitely some business aspects of that issue that we're having the attorneys resolve. Over.
Thank you, April. Okay. Moving on to Wood Park to Point Celeste 6A1. The contract was awarded in 2020, and it is 100% complete. The final NCC, or the second NCC on this job, was completed on December 20th, 2024, and Phil was the contractor on this one. Moving on to the next one. Do you have any questions, sir?
Where we are with replacing the pumps in Point Celeste pumping station?
Miss April Falconvilla will speak about Point Celeste in the near future in about 5 minutes. All right, moving on to 682 Point Celeste to West Point Lahash. Award date was November 2020. The contract is currently 96% complete. It consists of levee construction and turf establishment, drainage structure, and new drainage canals as well. The NCC scheduled for June 2026. And the contractor on 682 is Philway Construction. Any questions?
Come back to it. Go back to the slide, yeah.
And council members, when you're coming below Point Lahash Ferry, the Diamond Home, on the right-hand side, there's a lot of property there's a canal, a little canal, and then there's some property there, a hill or whatever, and then there's a levee. That spot that's in the middle, are y'all planning on doing anything with that? Are y'all understand what I'm asking?
Of course, I do.
Okay.
Can you repeat it one more time if that's okay? I'm trying to get an exact location because
The land between Highway 23, there's a home, and then there's the levee. Between Highway 23 and that levee, are y'all planning on doing anything with that property there? It's just sitting there. I don't know it has any purpose or anything.
I'm not 100% sure which location you're talking about, but I can definitely have a further discussion with you. I can email you, get your contact information, and reach out, unless April has.
Well, we don't normally have any authority over any property that's outside of the right-of-way that our levees go on. So not sure your question about use of property outside of our right-of-way.
That ditch that's on the side of Highway 23 is not connected to a pumping station. So that's why I wanted to know what y'all were planning on doing with it.
So the ditch, not the land in between the highway and our levee.
Ditch and the land in between there and the levee.
Right. So we have ditches that we are excavating in connection to this project. So we do have like the flow that we have designed for, but I'm still not clear, and so maybe we can.
Mr. France.
Can I maybe speak?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
He's in.
All the mics on, okay. I know what you're talking about, because when they scraped that ditch out, they left the hump, and I thought it would have been appropriate to take a dozer and level that out. But I remember, Billy, the reason we couldn't get a dozer is because they do have little cross ditches going to that back ditch.
So that's DOT did the ditch parallel
They
to
did
the
it,
highway.
right.
But the space between the highway and the levee is landlocked because you got them little outfall ditches that connect to the canal that runs parallel to the levee. And
Those connect.
but But I don't think the land between the levee and the highway, the part that's overgrown because you can't get to it, I don't think that's core property.
So Billy, so,
Private property.
Yeah, it could even be,
That
yeah.
may even go with what's across the highway that goes straight.
Right, and
But it is
marsh.
kinda like you end up with little blocks.
It's land- right,
You got
yeah.
You got the horizontal and the vertical.
No, well, we couldn't get a dozer in there because of those cross ditches, if I'm not mistaken. That's because me and Billy had talked about that when that was going on. Because I felt like if to keep it cut, you'd have to level that out.
Yeah.
But you couldn't because they got little ditches going to the drainage canal.
Like little islands, but it's more related.
Yeah, okay.
you could continue, sir.
Thank you, sir. NOV future work, DERSA will fund the additional construction of 10 levee reaches, which are authorized to the 50-year LORR elevation at full federal expense. USACE Memphis, in this case, is doing the design work, and New Orleans District maintains the lead. So we're working hand in hand with the Memphis District, MVM, with the design on the 7 levee construction reaches, which are 5A1, 5A2, 6A1, 6A2, and 6A3, NOV 10A, NOV 11. Additionally, we have some fronting protection at pump stations and replacement of eye wall and T-walls in certain sections. That would be NOV 15. The current contract, current status is PDT completed data collection and initial design on 4 of the contract, which is 10A 10A, contract 11, contract NOV 15A and NOV 15B. And most recently, our team, after we actually NCC'd the 6A1 section, which was done in December, our team went out there, our Memphis team, and completed the survey efforts, and they will be starting borings for that project in June. So we're looking forward to going out there again and raising the levees. Any questions?
Do you have any report on NOV levy from St. Jude to Happy Jack?
No, I do not have any report.
You given?
No, I do not have any update on that one. I'm assuming that one would have been completed or it's going to be on the future works. The only projects I'm currently briefing on are the ones that are under construction.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I guess it's completed.
It's either completed or it's going to be on the NOV future work if you're concerned about it. Is there something specific about that project?
Well, when the Corps of Engineers, when they raised that part of the levee, after it was done, when it rained, my residents, it holds in about a foot of water in their yard. And we need to get those ditches swept, and it was caused by the raising of the levee.
I'm not sure what the Corps can do at this moment. I think the job has been turned over, and you might want to reach out to your local government, which is in case the parish, to make sure that the ditches or if there's any drainage issues in that area are addressed.
The only problem is that the local government didn't cause the problem.
I'm not 100% sure, so I cannot tell you.
Thank you. Great, a lot of information here, questions. Can this presentation be sent to the members and administration? Kim, do you okay, Kim's got it, good enough. You have his contact information also, Kim? Thank you. So, and for acronym purposes that, I wasn't in the military, which that's fine. What does LORR stand for?
Give me 1 second. I had it written down too, so I forget it because sometimes it's a lot of them.
Level of risk reduction.
Great, thank you. So with the level of risk reduction and raising these levies, a huge problem in, I guess, my district and everybody's district is this
FEMA flood 2.0, and it's ridiculous. So if you guys are raising this to a 50-year level of risk recognition, will that something that FEMA can look at for insurance purposes and insurance to help out? It's terrible in the southern end of the parish to help us, because it's basically dead with these restrictions we got. We have a member in the audience that talks to us every week about this, about having to raise their homes and stuff like that, which most folks, if they can afford it, they elderly, they can't go up 10 to 15 flights every day. So that, 10 feet or 15 feet every day. So is there something that can be, look, we need some help. And I guess I'm asking, I'm not asking, I'm begging for some help from the Corps to help out with this stuff for us. And I guess that's where I'm going.
After NOV gets completed in a couple of years, there is a process that we can do, like I was saying last night at your town hall meeting. We have to get our levies accredited. And then that's going to be hand in hand with FEMA. And then with the information from getting it accredited, we'll start to lower our premiums, because our number that they have given us, because we're a high risk. I mean, bottom line, Plaquemines Parish is all a high risk, but we have to get our levies accredited before we can start that process.
Every levy has to be completed before.
We're going to go by sections. Because that's the new levies. This is going to be the most makes sense because they're brand new. We're going to pass inspections with them. They're going to be at the height they need without settling already. And then we can go ahead and get that section certified. And then so that area will be turned into FEMA with their reports that we're going to do. And we have to go through an engineering firm to get this process done. And then once that's submitted, then that area, the risk reduction will go down, along with hopefully our premiums.
And you guys doing a lot of work here, but whatever help you can give Plaquemines Parish is greatly appreciated, because, and I know Ms. Bucky said in a few years, some folks don't have a few years, so I know some folks don't have that much few years, and it's just whatever you guys can do to help us. And Ms. Buck is every day as a levy person every day. So appreciate the stuff you're doing, but
Thank
we just
you.
we're reaching out
money on this, and it's going to help us. It really will.
And all of us.
Councilman, if you notice, the parish and we're broken down in polders. So like when you come into Bell Chase, and then you got the Captain Larry's, the wall. Then we've got Laura Seat. That's a project that we're working on right there, is getting that levy with CPRA, and I think with the Corps as well, to bringing it to the river, so that we don't have to do any flood fighting. So that will close off the Jesuit Bend area. Now that would bring that level of risk reduction, that'll bring it down so that we can deal with FEMA on that. Now we are in the process right now setting up meetings with FEMA in Dallas to move forward on the certification on these levees from Laura Seat to the Diamond Jump. We don't want to sit back and wait. And I'm sure there's been modeling throughout the whole process, which you were given the reasons why you built it at 14 or 16 to come down to 14. So there's modeling for that. So we want to get with FEMA and to move forward now and not wait till the 2027 when the project's at its completion. We want to start that now so that it meets at the same time, so that we can get that. We're all, we're dealing with the risk reduction, the V zone, getting it out of a V zone, so we are in that process.
Thank you. A lot of good information out there, spread. And I just want to, Mr. Brock, I know you talk about it. This board is working to try to get that. So we're not just sitting down doing nothing. So again, thank you, and I'm finished.
Okay, moving on. Next, Ms. April Falcon Villa. Yes, sir.
France just asked about what y'all building that's flooding his constituents. And it goes hand in hand with coastal restoration. All these tree huggers, they'll go take pictures of the properties during the winter and low tide, and they'll show you all this new land. And then they go in summertime when it's green, and they show you two different things, saying, look how much it built. But if you go do the inspections, say on a dry day, it hasn't rained in months, because I got the same thing in Boothville, where y'all built the levee up right to the Boothville River Road. And now that's the ditch holding water, and that's making us have to find money to fix the road because it is the ditch now. So, you know, y'all might have not have seen that when y'all inspected it and gave it to the parish, but now we stuck with it. How can we fix that?
We would have to further discuss this issue. I'm glad you guys are bringing this stuff to our attention because I can share this information and knowledge with my colleagues who are working on the design all the time. I mean, Memphis has been spending a lot of time addressing the new projects that we have. We had people from Memphis last week that were out here doing surveys, and they're going to come out here again to continue doing work. So sharing this information from a resident, yourself or a council member, it's great. We can take this information and share it with our team to ensure that we can reduce such issues in the future.
It's just like the President just said about Lara Seat and a new hump they want to build because we always got to put sandbags there. We have the same problem in Venice where we got to sandbag the road every year. And that wouldn't be too big of a price to just pick that road up a little.
Councilman Kontovich, yes, I'm very aware of it because they are coming frequently now to look at all levies, and I got hit with it. I got a ding with it because that is on there along with 11 other ones with full details. So, but it's actually a good thing because along with this, they're writing a formal letter. Well, Colonel Jones is writing a formal letter to President Hinckley, but it's also addressing that he now realizes how much help we need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question regarding a statement here on your slide. It says that DRSAA will fund additional construction for 10 levee reaches to authorize grade at 50-year level of risk reduction, I guess, in perpetuity. Now, is that based upon the current mean water elevation as we see it now? I'd imagine your levees have to be built to a certain height to reach that level of risk reduction. Now, is this checkbook going to stay open? Because now we also have this mid-Barataria freshwater diversion that could potentially raise our mean water elevation. And now the levee heights that the Corps spent this extraordinary amount of money on to build it to reduce our level of risk reduction could potentially be in jeopardy. And that data has not been released yet. We don't know what it is. We're hearing different numbers on our end that the mean flood elevation could be as much as 18 inches to 3 feet. So are you guys taking that into consideration as you build these NOV levees, and are you prepared to keep the checkbook open to build them up to low our risk reduction? Because we're not talking about that, and I don't see that in any of the slides, but that's a real world issue that we're faced with right now. Construction is happening right now. And I don't know that your agency and CPRA are having this dialogue. So can you potentially address that? Because it really affects our entire parish.
Yes, hi. April Falcon Villa again. So the Mid-Barataria sediment diversion structure is a CPRA initiative. It is a Section 408 permission that was granted by General Holland. And part of the permission is that they don't induce flooding to the area. And whatever feature that they would propose to ensure that flooding, that they're not inducing flooding to the area, they have to present that to the Corps. So the Corps of Engineers is in concert with that project. We meet with CPRA. They provide us their construction schedule so that we provide oversight to all of their features. And we do have review teams that look specifically at that. Because unfortunately, our projects have a scope and a budget. And no, the purse is not open. After we complete that scope, we do our notice of construction completion with the non-fed sponsor in concert, and we perform our final inspection and we turn that over. And so the ownership then goes back to the non-federal sponsor. So we don't have an open checkbook to address issues, but the issues should be addressed with the Mid-Barataria sediment diversion structure and the components.
I guess it's not a gotcha moment. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that the people know that you all have a dialogue, that you all are talking, because this affects our livelihood. This affects where people live. And they need to know that you are taking that in as a planning consideration and that this conversation is happening. I've spoken to President Hinckley. He assures me that it is. But since you're up here, the
Yes.
people want to hear it from you that
Absolutely.
this dialogue is happening.
So Brad Barth, who is the ops chief with CPRA, we actually have, it kind of was put on pause, but we were having monthly meetings. But with the new administration, the new governor, obviously I think you guys are aware that that project was kind of put on pause. So there hasn't been a lot of coordination to date since that happened. But before that happened, we were in concert, even with how we modify our ongoing construction so that we could coexist in those crossovers. We were talking about how we wouldn't build our levees in the footprint of the channel because that would be a waste of material and time. And how do we sequence our construction to go south past the channel? So those conversations absolutely were happening. But again, put on pause until we're told otherwise.
Thank you. My point was just to make sure that you guys are talking. Thank you.
I would like to just go ahead and add a little bit more. Do realize that we also have 2 project managers from CPRA and the Corps that are in Plaquemines Parish every single day. That's how we got the additional DRSA funds when he was approached his high-uppers to let them know that we needed additional monies to finish certain projects throughout the NOV project. So they are well aware because I talk to them frequently. Scott talks to them every day because they are with us a lot inspecting everything that we have going on.
It's kind of it.
But do y'all talk? Because I know when this process started about the diversion, and I want to say the Corps did a study, it might have been before Katrina, that said diversions don't work. But y'all let it go through anyway.
You got me on that one because I'm not going to say too much about it, but yes, we do talk. And there is a new study that's going on right now. So let's see what this study says in about 3 years.
Well, they could do a study that can make it say what they want. Just like that map system in Baton Rouge. If I put it in the computer that it's going to work, it's going to work.
Well, we have a lot of different opinions that each one says a different thing about it, but we're just kind of just waiting around till that final decision is made.
The Corps did the study about diversions don't work, and now we changing our minds.
Thank you. What I'm trying to understand with the New Orleans Adventist project is just a clear timeline for all of us to understand where we at, what need to be done, because I'm hearing 60%, 80% here, where it's at. Because almost what I'm hearing like now, and I hope I'm not hearing, is saying they're ready to turn it over like it's completed. And I hope that's not what you're saying. So where are we at in terms of New Orleans Adventist? Because this project is how old this project is?
Some of the construction that we have going on right now started in 2018, and I have a pump station that was constructed in 2013. So it's a lot of pieces and puzzles to this specific project because additional funding was given to us while we were in construction with some of the reaches. For example, 6A1. Which is, if you don't mind, if I go back.
The only thing I'm saying, I was just like a total report to show, because this started in 2018, and I was understanding that it was almost completed. And what I thought we was getting today is where we're almost showing where they're ready to turn it over. So it seems like that is not really happening. So how can we get something more comprehensive? Because right now, we just piecemeal in this presentation. I mean, it's just all over the place as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Chairman, Kimberly and Ms. Buck and I are talking, and I am wanting a report before hurricane season because it does seem like when we drive that levee, when we start at Laura's Seat and we go down and just ride, you will notice that it's like this section is complete. Then there's a void. It's a process on building these levees. They can only come up, 12 inches at a time. Then it has to sit and settle. But as you heard, I think the worst section was at a 68% completion?
Yes.
I tell you, I'm not 100% confident and comfortable with it, not until, what was it, June or September of 27 is when it sounds like that was the latest date, the furthest date out that when it's all going to be completed. There's some that's going to be completed in 26, and then and it's my understanding what I heard,
Yes, sir.
27. So we're going to I want to see a report because should we experience a storm, we want to know that where we are as far as the level, at what height is that 68%. Because a lot of it's the berms that are being built, and they'll come back and build the levee. Now, these berms that they build, they're twice the height of the old potato ridge that we've been dependent on for, forever, since we took over that property. So we'll get that report for you.
Yeah, only thing I'm saying is that prior to your administration, to 2018, the thing about driving on levee, it seemed like this stuff should have been known way ahead of time. And I'm just wondering why we just having these conversations about riding the levee, how bad the levee is, because that's something that Palm and flood control should be doing. Or we should know some of this stuff already. I'm just amazed about how far behind we are when I thought we should be farther ahead to 2018. And
I can tell you from 2006 to 2014, or I'm sorry, 2007 to 2014, we knew those answers. When we got into office here, we didn't have those answers. We are now establishing those answers. So we are working on that, and that's happening as we speak. But when we got into office, the gigs that we had from the Corps, it was a stack of papers this big. I think Scott would mention they would have 70-something gigs at a time. Kimberly's just showed you a piece of paper that has 11 problems on this last inspection. So
I just want to go back to two things, something that Mr. Newsom said and then something that Councilman Champagne said about the discussion that we're having. And Mr. Brock's name was brought up as it relates to FEMA. For the 2 years I've been here, I've been trying to do all type of stuff with FEMA. So I was surprised to hear this conversation with Dallas, because I could tell you when you talk about the risk per node, the elevation in East Bank, people are really losing their mind. They're being depressed. And that's really, I've been trying to be a part of a conversation for FEMA for 2 years. So then when Avis came on, everything was dumped to Avis. And I told Avis all the conversation I had with FEMA. So I just want to tell Mr. Brock, because you and Mr. Hobble was part of a meeting 2 Lundi ago with Scalise, and we talked about FEMA. And I'm saying today is the first time I'm hearing about this administration have a conversation with FEMA, when that's one of the key issues with us, with the
we have not had any conversations. You
Please
sure
don't
can.
interrupt. Let me finish. I'm just saying that the conversation. So I just want to say, because you brought Brock's name up, I'm just telling you as your councilman, I don't see a lot of work being done as far as what we're trying to do with the East Bank elevation. You know, real serious conversation. And I've been trying for 2 years to get it. I have yet to get that. So I just want to stick that, because I don't want to, because you was brought into the conversation. So I'm just saying as your councilman, I'm just saying, sitting here, I'm still clueless about anything being done with FEMA as it relates to the elevation issue. And I've been talking about it for 2 years. So I just want to put that out there. And I stand on that one. And I have proof of that.
And I can tell you, we have not had any meetings or conversations with FEMA to this date. We are trying to establish this relationship with them. And Councilman LaFrance, that's Magnolia. The Magnolia Group owns that property.
Any more questions? The people from the Corps of Engineers? Thank you for your presentation.
I would like to thank you. I know you might have thought I'd give you a hard time, but listen, I want to thank you for everything that y'all and the Corps have done. Truly, we can't survive in Plaquemine Parish without our levees. And thank y'all for raising them up. And there was just some questioning we needed to ask so we could get the information out.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the questions, and I hope I answered all of them, of course. I tried my best. But any of the questions, we did take some notes, and any of the questions that I was not able to answer correctly or I was not able to answer, I would follow up with you with an email, and we're happy to work with our non-federal sponsor. Kim has been great. We really appreciate it. We appreciate it a lot.
I have one question, one
Yes.
more. From St. Jude to Happy Jack, when they raised that levee was raised 200 feet short, 200 yards short of the next polder. I would like to know why. On the southern end of St. Jude to Happy Jack.
Are you speaking of the levee having different elevations at different points?
They stop at one point, yes.
And then there are different heights?
Yes.
Yeah, our team, our hydraulics team, does a full analysis on different water level conditions with different hurricanes to determine the applicable levee elevation prior to us building it. So there's some analysis that was completed in-house by our engineers to confirm the level. And is this a T-wall, if you don't mind? Is this a
No.
concrete structure
No.
or is this, okay.
No. Straight run.
Straight, just,
Straight run.
Okay.
And it's 200 yards short of the next polder. I couldn't understand that.
So can I restate your statement? You're saying that 200 yards were untouched.
Right.
Okay, so not that our hydraulics dictated some jump in elevation. So your question is, why did we stop at the mile marker that we stopped and not continue and complete the 200 yards?
Yes.
Okay, I will have that question answered. I don't know the specific area you're speaking of, but we will look into it, and we'll see why the contract construction mile marker ended where it did.
It was 200 yards short of the next boulder. Yeah. Okay.
and I apologize about that. I think that was a confusion on my end. I thought we were speaking about the elevation of the levees varying. Next, go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to introduce Ms. April.
I think I've been introduced.
All right, go ahead.
And you guys should take it easy on me. Like, take it out on him, but be easy on me. So, listen, before I move on, there's only about 3 slides. I have the easy part of this presentation. I put Hashem in front of you guys to kind of haze him a little bit. I recruited Hashem to project management. He actually is a construction manager. He's a licensed professional engineer. So I knew I had some construction projects here in Plaquemines Parish, and he had the skill sets. So I appreciate you guys today, your attention. I wanted to just talk just a little bit more about the future work here under the DRSA set of funds, and that stands for Disaster Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act. And again, it's quite a bit of money. I believe it's $783 million. So as you guys know, there's going to be another infusion of work. And Reverend, I do owe you, I put in my notes, a graph where I can show you exactly the work that is going on today and why those contracts basically were achieving a 25-year level of risk reduction. That has an end state, and we're going to notify you guys of construction completion, again, in partnership with our non-Fed sponsor. We all have to agree that we have achieved completion, and we actually issue you guys a letter stating that the final inspections have been completed and was satisfactory. So then the graph will continue on in hopes that we can show the 50-year level of risk reduction, which is future work. Okay, so I owe you that graph, sir. I think it's actually a good tool to have to communicate.
I'm confident Kim shook her head as soon as I made the statement that I was going to get it, so I had the blessed assurance.
Okay, great. So enough of this, but this is a lot of work ahead of us. It's going to be exciting, and we are in partnership with Memphis District on this. So the topic that I'm going to speak about is government furnished borrow, and I think President Hinckley here kind of stole my thunder a little bit as his intro. So as mentioned, we have a lot of levee construction in the next phase, $383 million worth of embankment and a lot of also other hardened structures. But that's going to require a lot of clay material. And so we're here to talk about government furnished borrow. So there are different approaches on how we actually obtain suitable material. And suitable has to pass a lot of different criteria. But as an engineer, the important one for me is that it actually is clay material so that it holds up to the test of Mother Nature. And so our general and preferred method to acquiring the real estate for this material is government furnish. And that is really in partnership with our non-federal sponsor to acquire the lands, easements, and right-of-ways to those parcels. And we, the Corps, will perform investigations on that parcel. And again, it will meet engineering requirements, parameters. It will pass all of their environmental NEPA requirements. But we do ask that the non-federal sponsor conduct the acquisition of that property. And depending on the cost share of this, which I can say is 100% federal, the non-federal sponsor will get reimbursed. So this is all good news, and I think it really is the most cost-effective approach to providing the material that we need to build the elevation up from 25-year level of risk reduction to the 50-year that we're required to deliver under the Disaster Relief Appropriations Act. Any questions so far on kind of the definition of government furnish? I know there's the contractor furnish approach, which is really where a contractor will propose or has a piece of property that they've already gone through the clearance, and then the contractor will have, the construction contractor will have a contractual agreement with them to use that borrow, and that would be part of their cost. We feel and have experienced that that is really high cost. And so in order for us to meet this 50-year level of risk reduction, we want to keep the cost of borrow down so that we get more height on our levees. Does that make sense? Any questions on this? Okay. As I've already mentioned, just a little bit more details, and again, you guys will have this slide deck for reference, but the government furnished borrow does have to meet the geotechnical investigation parameters. It also has to meet all the environmental clearances, the National Environmental Policy Act, in terms of the environmental assessments and impacts. And again, on the parish side, it would be just doing the legwork to obtain that piece of property, and so the real estate actions are there and the reimbursements will happen. Okay, I forget who brought up Point Celeste. Okay, yes, so Point Celeste, gosh, I think, President, that was maybe a year and a half ago that we met at the district in the exec office, where President Hinckley essentially said, look, I know you guys have these 10 contracts for the DRSA work, the $783 million, but we really would trump all of those 10 to put Point Celeste as number one. That was the message that we heard. There have been many WRDA languages that's come to try to address how we get after this. Our original hope was that we could use the DRSA funds and just slide Point Celeste in as our number one priority. We were told that we could not do that. So we attempted and we got a no. We didn't not ask. We asked and got a no. So we worked very hard with congressmen and senators to, again, express the need for Point Celeste. And now we have additional language. So we had one language before this that actually created a new program, a rehabilitation of pump stations. And now there are several pump stations across the world that have jumped on that bandwagon. And Point Celeste definitely is in there. The president submitted a letter of interest, and so that has made its way to that program. That program has no allocation. So it's appropriated, but there's no appropriations. There's authority, but no appropriations. So there's that option. And then this final attempt is to incorporate the Point Celeste pump station as an environmental infrastructure feature. This just happened at the last WRDA last year. We are awaiting implementation guidance from our headquarters on how to do this because it is out of the norm that pump stations are considered environmental infrastructure. So we're just trying to make sure that our attorneys and all the legal counsel folks nod their head up and down before we move forward with this. But again, we have two authorities, no appropriations. So again, understand that it is the parish's priority. We have done our best to incorporate it into DRSA, and then also we have two avenues now in which we can still continue that dialogue, and we stand ready to execute this project. We're pretty excited about it as soon as the funding comes to pass. At this point, that's all my presentation. I open the floor to questions.
Mr. Newsom.
Thank you. So backing up on a little thing you talked about when these levies are done and there's agreement from the non-federal partners, which Plaquemines Parish government is one of those.
Right.
I guess as an ask, who do we get to sign off? Is that you, Mr. President, or Kim, do you sign it, or do we hire because
that's not a small task. I mean,
that's what
that's very extensive. A lot of attorneys are involved in that.
Okay, so and I guess that was my question. Thank you.
In fact, I think just yesterday, today's Thursday, just yesterday, Karen Clement, who is part of our Inspection of Completed Works program, mailed off NOV 10. Again, we conducted the final inspection of that. What we do is a red zone meeting. The contractor says, I'm done. And we say, you're done when we say you're done. We go and inspect his work. And if there are any deficiencies or anything that he hasn't met based on the plans and specifications, those are bulleted out. And we have a schedule on how he resolves all of those. Then the whole team comes back and ensures that all of those things were completed according to plans and specifications. And so we have a construction team out here in place that does that for us. And we have the non-fed sponsor, CPRAB, all present when that happens. And essentially everybody signs off on it. And then we go through our approvals and the colonel signs, and then we deliver a letter. And we have CDs that include all of the as-built, all of the contractual modifications and things like that, so that you guys have that on hand as record on how it was built and the quality of the work.
Thank you.
Okay. That concludes the Corps of Engineers presentation. Again, appreciate all of your guys' time. This is, I'm hoping, the first of many. We would like to come back. We would like to address all the questions that you guys have presented to us that we didn't provide answers to, so we have that due out. But we also would like to come back and just give more of a routine progress report so that this doesn't kind of go on for too many years and then faces change. And
In the future, it'd be helpful to some of us, or most all of us, to have the presentation so we can do a little reading, so we can have some, instead of getting it today, if possible. I know some things are not that possible, but if possible, email it to us before the meeting and we can read. Thank you.
absolutely. If possible, that will be a read ahead. So that way we can be prepared.
And I could be prepared to ask you a little more.
I look forward to it.
One thing I got at, I'll let you try that. One more thing. I'll make sure you get you a copy.
No, we're going to have comments from the audience. Give me, I just want him to finish.
What is the projected cost of the pumping station?
For Point Celeste? For Point Celeste, I think the estimate, and again, I think it's public information, just an estimate, because, the Corps doesn't disclose pre-solicited figures, but I think it's in the ballpark of $50 million. That's the ballpark. We would love for it to be less expensive, not cheap. Cheap implies not good quality. We want it for it to be less expensive, and we would love the best contractor to get the bid.
And that's 4 pumps?
For Point Celeste, I believe so. It would be essentially like a replacement in kind. I don't know that we have the authority to increase whatever the existing capacity or the intended capacity is. So design capacity, according to my slide here, is 520 CFS.
I think it was less pumps, but the volume was close to the same as
Bigger
before.
pumps.
Right. Yeah, that's because they pre-installed the pipes through the wall.
And your drawings will include rakes.
Yeah, so we do have trash racks. And yes, the way that you rake these trash racks, you could either have a Cadillac, or if you're as old as I am, a Yugo, if you guys remember what a Yugo is. I agree with you. If it works, the bells and whistles sometimes cost more than the actual thing. So there are different ways to actually clear those trash racks, but that's one of the problematic things that we run into with pump stations is just the cavitation and just the flow and blockages. So, we are open to any O&M suggestions. We understand that what we build, you guys have to operate and maintain, and so that's definitely, something that through the design process, we can troubleshoot what the best is for the area.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Get him the Yugo previous.
Okay, I really appreciate your time. Have a great evening.
Appreciate your time. Anything else from the administration?
Yes, sir. Patrick Harvey, Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Ops, he just wanted to remind us that this weekend he's monitoring the severe weather threat that's coming in on Saturday, and just he'll be providing some updates on that. So just be cognizant and aware of that.
And I'm sorry, the audience, you was saying, did you have something to say? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, my brother. Yes.
Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Camerland, Phoenix, Louisiana. I wish the Corps was staying here. I had a few questions for them. I run a little late because of the ferry. But the question I have they had 7 projects going to be done for levees and all that. Is any one of the levees was from on East Bank or all of them on the West Bank?
That was on the New Orleans to Venice project. They was only making a presentation on that only.
All right. So, and I heard Point Celeste to West Prona Hash is going to have pumping station. A big conversation on the pumping station from West Prona Hash and to Celeste, Point Celeste. And we know our pumping stations still need to be updated because I went to check them up yesterday. Both of our pumping stations still on the outside. We don't have
Hold on. I want Billy to hear what you said.
Yeah, our pumping station on East Bank, we good enough for rainy days, and the pumps could take care of that. But we still have like temporary pumps, because pumps are on the outside of the building. If they're on the outside of the building, that's considered temporary. So if they're putting $12 million to put a pumping station, and I just want to let them know we need pumping station on our side because we don't have no way to get the water out but pumps. So, right.
All right, next item on the agenda.
5, bids and advertisements, there are none. 6, beer and liquor licenses, Magnolia Blossoms of Plaquemines Ladies Luncheon on May 9th, 2025, starting at 11 a.m. and ending at 2 p.m., located at 8398 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana, 70037. The Ferry Stop Diner, 3762 Highway 23, Suite A, Braithwaite, Louisiana. Pepper on 239052 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana.
Can we take all 3 of them? Or we have to take them separately?
We just did.
Second, bill for second. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open. Schultz is here? Oh, it passes with Councilman Champagne and Schultz, who present but temporary out of the chamber. Next item, please.
7, building permits. 7B, Lauren Austin, conditional approval for additional 13 spaces to existing defer.
Item 7.
CHS Inc., new construction in FP zoning district, 434 East Ravenna Road, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. All Saints Holdings LLC, conditional approval. Are we taking these in Globo? No, okay.
Can we take them, you need to take them separate?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's go to 7B.
Deferred.
C, so you defer B and C?
No, just B.
B, okay, we'll take C.
I offer C,
I'll second.
and this is for the construction of an office by the grain elevator.
It been a second. Any comments from the audience? Administration, the machine is open for 7C. Champagne? Oh, it's on.
Member Champagne? Okay. Still not here.
It passes 8 with Councilman Champagne temporary out of the chamber. Next item.
All Saints Holdings
For
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The first ordinance is for Councilmember Edwards, an ordinance to amend the 2025 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next one is for Councilmember Champagne, an ordinance to accept offer from Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development to purchase certain land from Plaquemines Parish identified as parcel 4-1 in the offer letter for construction of the LA 406 roundabout at F. Edward A. Bear Route, Louisiana 406, state project number H008220, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next ordinance is for Councilmember Gui, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, asphalt road maintenance project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, an ordinance for Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance declaring a temporary housing need continues to exist in Plaquemines Parish pursuant to subsection 6 of section 12 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that's it.
That's it. Thank you.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 9A1, an ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map, therein adopted by reference and which is paragraph thereto with reference to application number 2025-565 dated December 19, 2024, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
It's been offered by Councilman Juris, second by Councilman Conovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Audience, I'm sorry.
Ricky Becknell, 14515 Highway 23. Just thank y'all for y'all time this afternoon. Obviously, we are in opposition of this. Really, the fact of this is that a year ago, this piece of property was voted down actually by you guys. And I say this piece of property because it's a technicality that this is even being brought up today. A year ago, when you all voted against this, this was 16 acres that was voted no under the changing of the zoning to a mobile home. Somehow now we found a loophole to be able to circumvent the law that you can bring this back up because it is a different tract of ground. It's just a different parcel number that is identical. It matches directly up to the piece of property that was denied a year ago. So the 16 acres that was denied a year ago, if we were to approve this, it's going to make it one contiguous piece of 21 acres, I believe. So you'll have a piece of ground that's right there, zoned mobile home, if it was passed, while the other one is still zoned agriculture. That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, how can one be not good a year ago and all of a sudden this one is now? So obviously our infrastructure is very fragile. Everybody recognizes that. Everybody has the water issues that we have going on. In fact, Mr. LaFrance, you know, he has a moratorium going on in District 7 in his district. So that's actually where my home is at. Right across the street from this proposed piece of property is a moratorium on RV parks. So again, just looking at it from common sense and facts, guys, that how can this pass like this, you know? And then to be in this position that the zoning board decided that they were going to flip their position on it is another confusing part of it for a lot of us, you know? There's a lot of us in the back of the room there that are here today that obviously are very opposed to this. And we could have probably even had another 10 or 12 people had it not been for, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A lot of people have work and bringing their kids to school and things like that. So please take that into consideration when voting as well. So I want to thank y'all for your time. And if anybody has any questions or anything before I go. So thank y'all.
Anyone else?
Arthur Henry, Belchase. Listen, this coming up again, going around and around. Now, this passed the zoning board. Now, if I can remember, last time this came around, you guys said whatever the zoning board approved, you was going to back them. The public seen it, the public heard it. Now you get to put yourself on that spot. What you going to do? The zoning board approved this. Show the public you're a man to your word or you're a lady to your word. Show the public when you say something, you mean it. Because before, zoning board went against it, we going with the zoning board. Now, zoning board for it. Let's see what you do.
Anyone else?
Parish Blocks 156, Enos Camel land. I think a year and a half ago, when it was that section of land was eligible for someone to put RVs on, and I think Mr. Stokes said to Mr. David, be careful, hold on, make sure you check out this out because they're about to change it, that they won't be able to take RVs anymore. And Mr. David bought the property, came up to the board, and they said, no, we had made a change. So when he made the change, he could not have it, but put his RVs on it, and it was voted on, and he could not put them on there. If I'm not right, Mr. Stokes, please tell me. Correct me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
I believe that was because of the moratorium that was voted on later in the meeting, correct?
Right.
That was the same meeting, and that was what was references. Yeah, you might be approved. However, we were implementing the 6-month moratorium at that time. I think that's what you're referencing to. So.
Yes, yeah, but he already purchased the property, and you told him you might be. But if he would have been like 1 month later, I think he could have got it. But you told him that you buying this property, it might have a moratorium that you won't be able to put no campers on it. So they shut our RVs down going to Belchase. Now there is an opening again that he could put it on there because it might be the same section of land, but the land that he owned right now, he just purchased, he didn't own it at the time. So this is a new part of land, and I think he still got to go to the permit office if he's going to take it and put it on that second part of land that he first got. If they say you can't do it, he can't do it. But the second part that he got, he don't spend a lot of money, close to $100,000 on property, and just because somebody say I don't want it there, if everybody say I don't want it there, Mr. LaFrance would be the first one to want to have no campers down there. That's not fair. If somebody did everything, all the things that's supposed to be done, he did it. For him to get here today, he had to get by Miss Amitra Rose. If he got by Miss Amitra Rose, he did everything he's supposed to do. It's only fair that he get his land. And look, I know him because of this being in this place right here. Him and I don't go set out and drink no beverage or nothing. Him and I don't play baseball or no kind of sports together. I know him from being in here. So I'm not taking his side because somebody else saying I'm a friend of his. I'm a friend of all of y'all. You hear me? But right is right. That man did everything he's supposed to do. And just because some people say I don't want him as my next door neighbor, like I say, Mr. LaFrance said, people say the same thing, there will be no campers nowhere. This man has put a lot of money into this thing. And if it don't pass today, that's money he just wasted. So.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else? Anyone else from the audience?
David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Belchase. I just read a couple of articles. This was in the Gazette last week. Finally, construction workers have brought in thousands of travel trailers. Zoning and permit needs to be enforced fairly and equally to everybody. We have watched some follow all the rules and deny permits. Others receive permits when their approval is questionable. And still others proceed to add travel trailers without permitting, betting that they will not be caught. This is from our Gazette last week. It's not just me up here doing this. Other people are seeing this. This is published. Now, the last council meeting, when I stood before you guys to get rezoned, it did fail the zoning board. And you members, Councilmember Schultz, we put the zoning board members in place. We have a process in place. I have to put my trust in the zoning board. If you're a man of your word, I hope true to that. Now, I know today we had a little conversation saying your zoning board member voted against it. But your council members are one group. If my council member votes yes for this, does that give me the right to go do what my council member said? No, I have to follow what the council votes on. Same thing with the zoning board. The zoning board is a unit, just like the council is a unit. They have to follow what that zoning board says. Now, if we're changing the rules, I don't know what to play by anymore, because you guys told me it had to be zoned. Everybody agreed with Dr. Gui. Dr. Gui, you are right. There's a process in place. Follow it. And I sat here for a year and a half watching each and everybody vote on RVs, vote on spots, vote on friends and families, put them on their own private streets and everything else, and we don't have any issues. I'm on a 4-lane highway away from everybody. I own the land 16 acres north of me, and there's land down south of me, which is 10 acres of trees. I'm affecting nobody. But I've seen them go up in neighborhoods really close to the gentleman in the audience right here opposing me, right in their backyards, and they have not opposed that. They've added 40, 50 spots to trailer spots within way closer than me. And I had one of them even told me, well, I didn't know that. Well, I've been sitting here a year and a half, and I've been watching it, and I've been documenting it, and I've been seeing it. I paid attention, and I finally bought a piece of property again, because we got a fair process. Now we're going to follow the zoning board. And now you guys are changing the rules again. I got another comment here by Councilman Newsom, I'm sorry. Excuse me. For the record, the council has not went against this zoning board. That's when you was talking to Reverend Edwards, Councilman Edwards. We have a zoning board. They put their hard-earned effort into the right thing. The zoning board is put in place, and we should follow them. I will follow their decision because I will put people in place and not, if we put people in place and not back them, what's the use of having them? It's useless. The zoning board is there for a reason. Some people like the decision, like I did last time. Others don't. I will support the zoning board because it's incumbent for us to do so. I hope you remember that conversation, February 8th, 2024. That is on there. The zoning board is put in place to do the research for the hard work. We put them in power to make that decision, Councilman Champagne. And also, we have a process in place, and the process is the zoning board. That came from Becknell themselves, Tommy Becknell. So now all of a sudden we want to change the rules. Because David Clark come up here for a permit again, we're going to change the rules. Guys, tell me right now, what are those rules that I have? So what, I bought another 5 acres of land next to the 16 acres I own. Why would I go 10 miles down the road and buy land that away from what I own right now? Why did I? Because I trusted in your decisions. You guys followed the zoning board. I took that chance. I passed it. Once it passed the zoning board, I purchased the property. Because you guys said there was a process in place and you're going to do what the zoning board said. But now you're changing your minds. What is that? I was told, I mentioned Councilman Schultz because we had a decision at the last two meetings ago. I spoke to a couple of council members. I talked to Mr. Schultz. He told me he was for it. He seen what the zoning board, you can shake your head all you want. I'm telling you what, we had a discussion. If the cameras are on, we had it. And I know I don't have the votes right now. I know that. I was told that before the meeting. I don't have the votes. You guys already decided. But we have to make known what you guys, either you're a man of your word or you're not, or a woman of your word. Because I followed the process. And Mr. Champagne, I appreciate it because you and Dr. Gui and Edwards and the others that I did talk to, you guys seem to agree with the process.
Thank you, Dave. Hold on. I think some people want to respond.
Oh, no, I don't have any questions for him. Yes, a month ago. Oh, wait, you see public comments? Oh.
No, I'm talking to you.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought we were done.
No, come on up. Come on up. Come up.
Because once we go to the council.
It's over.
I'm sorry.
Thomas Becknell, 191 Bergeron Drive. However, property I own is further south that has been historically sixth-generation family property at 14060 Highway 23. A couple things. Ricky mentioned that we have a whole bunch of us that could get up here and take a whole bunch of time and say the same type of stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to miss something that somebody else might want to say. But we went to the zoning board a year ago, and we were told that if something fails from the zoning board, that you have to wait 2 years before you can bring it back up to the zoning board again. That's what we were told. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's what we were told. So what Mr. Clark is doing is taking a piece of property that's a mirror image or right next door, however you want to cut it, and redoing the same thing. A couple things have happened that I'm kind of frustrated with the zoning board was a year ago, and I'm saying a year, it was sometimes in January, one of the members of the zoning board, Mr. Scorsoni, abstained. He abstained from voting a year ago because he is an owner or part owner of an RV park. This time, and I was not at the meeting, and I apologize for not being there. I had oral surgery and I was knocked out and I couldn't have been at the meeting. So, but this time he felt like it was okay for him to vote, which I was kind of confused. You know, a year ago he abstained because it was a conflict of interest. This year he didn't abstain, and I don't know, I still think it was a conflict of interest, but that's neither here nor there. And, you know, so nothing really has changed except for nothing changed except for the fact that somehow the zoning board, with the help of Mr. Scorsoni, got swayed, all right? The area hasn't changed. Mr. Clark mentioned that there have been other parks proposed that were not opposed. That is not true. That is not true. Probably 2 years ago at a zoning board meeting, there were a group of us who I had a neighbor who wanted to put an RV park next door to my family property that has been in my family for 6 generations, that is zoned A2. My dad grew up across the ditch. I grew up on the other side of the ditch. My son now lives in that house. And I had a neighbor who wanted to put an RV park next door to my property, and we fought it. And we were successful in fighting that. So that is not true that they have had other parks that have gotten approved without any opposition. That is the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, you just look around in the area, and I know there's not as many citrus trees as there used to be, and I don't think that's my choice. You know, I don't think it's my cousin's choice, my uncle's choice. We've had issues with flooding, saltwater intrusion, canker, greening. So, but historically, this has been A2. And you look at the houses around there, where this tax money coming from? It's coming from these nice houses that are on this property who have farms, maybe or maybe not. They have a farm, but they have 4, 5, 6 acres of property with a nice house on it that they're paying. I know they're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year taxes. So who wants to pay $3,000 or $4,000 a year and have an RV park that's going to be adjacent to them and depreciate their value? A year or two ago, my cousin and I were on a little committee Mr. Juris puts together, and I made a comment, which I didn't know Mr. Champagne lived in Springwood at the time. And I mentioned something about Springwood. He's like, why are you picking on Springwood? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not picking on Springwood. But you know what? If you live in Springwood and there's an empty lot next to you, and you don't want an RV on the lot adjacent to you, I know they have covenants, they have this, they have that, and it was a good thing. However, where I live, that is my Springwood. That's my English term. That's my lake park. Okay? So, again, this got brought up a year ago. We circumvented these circumstances, and we're trying to bring up the same thing again. So I would appreciate the same consideration y'all did a year ago. Thank you for your time.
Yes. Well, let's shows first.
No, I want to clarify
Okay.
something before. Then I'll yield to, they may have more comment. But this is a separate piece of property. It's not the same property, if I'm not mistaken. This is a whole separate piece of property. It's not the same one that was voted on.
It is separate.
I said that. It's not the same piece of property. It's adjacent to the same property. It's a mirror image of the property.
But, you know, it's a whole separate piece
I get
of
it.
property. So
Right.
they're not circumventing nothing. There's nothing went to come back before the 2 years is up. I just want to clarify that. And, and That's all I wanted to know, because I do know it was a separate piece of property.
And I acknowledge that it is a separate piece of property, but it's right adjacent. They share a property line. It's in the same general vicinity. It's not like we're talking about a piece of property in Jesuit Bend and a piece of property in Buras. Okay, so it's very, very close, and it's to me. It's circumventing, the process that's in place, because it shares a property line, or if it doesn't share a property line, it's within 400 or 500 feet of the same property line. It's in the same general area. So if I said it was the same piece of property, I apologize, but it's an adjacent piece or a mirror image of the property that got denied by the zoning board and the council a year ago.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Any other comments? Mr.
Yes, Warren Lawrence, 120 Timmins Lane. One question I had, is this a reference to like spot zoning? It seems like what we're doing is we're going into areas and it's an A2. If you want to go in and change the zoning for the whole area, whether it be floodplain area, whether it be A2, it seems like you're going in, and I thought the parish was against spot zoning. And my question is there spot zoning? Somebody can answer it.
Anybody want to answer this question?
I'll address it when I make my comments.
Anyone else from the audience?
Good evening. Saxon, Richard Becknell. Everybody calls me Ricky. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for hearing us. 13949, Highway 23. People has asked me in the past, hey, Rick, that you're not consistent, that you're all over the place. And I had asked them, I said, well, what do you mean by that? They said, well, you was pushing hard. You was advocating there for that Dollar General. What is the difference? And I would like to go and explain that Dollar General served our community. And it was well needed, and that we really wanted it. It would go in there prevent us from having to go 8-10 miles up in Belchase, and thank God that it's there but today, there with the traffic that it we're having. So that's the difference, that Dollar General serves our community as a whole. There for many people. But this trailer park, guys, it serves one man's profit at the back of on the back of all of our neighborhood, all of Jesuit Bend. It's just not right. So I'm humbly here asking each and every one of y'all, if it was in your area, y'all wouldn't want it. And we're speaking loud and clear that you can see to everybody, we don't want it. This serves for one person, and then we're trying to change this, they're from agriculture to put this trailer park. It's not fair, it's not right. I'm asking y'all, please. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience? Councilman Chose. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Vince Frolich, 14325 Highway 23, Belchase. First of all, I want to ask the council, if we have to evacuate this parish, we got thousands of trailers out here. What are we going to do? Do y'all have a plan? I'd like to know something about it. Can you help me out on that?
Yes, we do have a plan. Last year for, what storm we experienced, Francine, we work with Venture Global. If we have a 72-hour plan prior to what Venture Global, it's like 120, 140 hour. So last year was a good trial run, and by the time it came for our residents to evacuate the parish, those RVs and those trailers were already gone. They were evacuating in the middle of the night. So it was a scary moment because we had never experienced that before. But at the end of the day, it really went well. So, I mean, you remember, you might not, but we did experience that last year. So, but there is a plan to evacuate these RVs.
Okay, I'm a former coastal director for Blackman's Parish, and I'm here 81 years. And I've worked hard for our parish to bring in coastal restoration. I had several projects that I completed, and I'd like to take into consideration you people to, look at what we have. We have a really quiet neighborhood, and we'd like to keep it that way. So I'd appreciate if you vote for us. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience?
How you doing? Zach Holloway, 121 Vote Drive, Belchase, and it's my first meeting ever. I just figured I'd say it. I live right here behind the high school. On my street are 3 houses with RVs in their driveway. That does not bother me at all, because that company, LNG, is bringing a lot of money to a lot of residents who live here. And I don't see a problem with anybody who lives here and calls this place home making a little bit of money. So if everybody's going to look at it differently, I just wanted to put that, just keep that in mind, that people are just trying to make a little money for their grandkids, for the next generations. It's a temporary RV park. I mean, I said I got a couple of them on my street, and it doesn't bother me at all. And hopefully y'all see it that way, maybe not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Danielle Martin. Oof. I'm not good at public speaking, so.
Your time, sweetheart. Take
166 Gainey Place. I come to you guys as a mother of 3 young children, whom every day go outside, play on our vast, beautiful piece of land. I had this. Anyhow, they do that without a care in the world. They're out there. I'm inside cooking dinner. They're having fun, and I don't have to check on them. I have that freedom to know they are safe. Y'all bring in this development, and, who knows what it brings with. We have a sense of community right now between our residents. This plant does bring in a lot of revenue for a lot of residents, but it is a lot of people from out of the state. It is not our neighbors. I oppose this because I don't want to lose that sense of freedom or security between my community of, neighbors. So, yes, I ask you guys to also look at it through my eyes of raising my children outside instead of on a tablet. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience? Mr. Schultz.
Yes, I'm going to clear up some comments and then make my comments that I already looked into. So, yes, I did talk to you a month ago, and I said I had to review the transcript and look at how everybody voted and do some more research. I'm glad you mentioned my comments in the past because you said we put members on the zoning board. I put my member on the zoning board, not even knowing who she was, but she was the member I put on that was put on by the previous person. I did my research on her, and she asked good questions throughout her tenure under the previous council member, and I liked her how she did her research. I didn't even know her beforehand, and I put her on there based on my previous experience researching her. Okay, that's one thing. You say that we never denied something before. 2 weeks ago, we denied one in Diamond of rezoning. A couple of months ago, we denied one in Oakville because the people didn't want it. Okay? Something that y'all said I want to clarify. about Mr. Scarsconi. Yes, he did vote, but he voted for, which technically brings competition to him. So I don't think he really needed to abstain. Might be wrong, might be right, but that's why I think he was allowed to vote, because he voted for it. So I want to clear up those comments. So yes, my zoning board member voted against it. I went back to the transcript. She has some good comments. And again, I already went into that. Another thing that I want to clear up, this is zoning, a rezoning versus a permit. If this was already zoned MH, I will 100% be for it, because it's already zoned. This is a rezoning. That changes everything. Back to Mr. Lawrence's comments, I believe it is spot zoning. Because a year ago, the same property line on the other side we voted against. Walk across the highway, there's a moratorium. We can't even vote for that. Yet we're going to allow us to vote for this one. What is the difference? This is one spot surrounded by A2. Nowhere else can we actually approve this zone, because the one on this side, he has to wait 2 years. The one across the highway, moratorium. So I guess the only other lot would be the other side of the lot we're voting on. So to me, it is spot zoning. And I have a problem with that. I talked about permits versus zoning. We talk about, I can't put RVs there, I can't put RVs there, I can't put RVs there. You can put 2 right now on your lot for the past year and a half on the other one. Never has done it. Show what type of neighbor you're going to be. Why haven't you put 2 RVs there? Show your neighbor. I don't know. I don't want a response, because I know I'm rhetorical question. But show that your neighbors what type of neighbor you would be. Okay? To me, ultimately, it comes down to the residents. Again, this is a zoning issue, a rezoning issue. Yes, I represent District 3. Look at my voting record for the past, 2 years now? To me, we represent the whole parish, one way or another. Yes, I represent District 3, but ultimately, we represent the whole parish, one parish. We've been preaching this as this council, one parish on all issues. So, as somebody mentioned, one person, 2 people, including your wife, wants this. Going back to the minutes, there was, I think, 12 people that signed up against versus 2. Right now, I count 20-something people here against. I've received numerous phone calls, some from these people here, multiple from people not here. They're all against this. So how am I going to say these people bought their homes, A2, knowing what's around them, and then we're allowing somebody to come in, completely change the zoning to put something that they don't want? Again, if this was a permit issue for a pig farm, chicken farm, I don't know what's all A2 allowed, I would have no problem. Or if it was already zoned MH, I would have no problem, because it's already zoned that way. Somebody mentioned living in residential. If somebody came next to me and wanted to rezone, I would have a problem with, yeah, I would. So when I moved into my house, I looked at the neighbors for a couple days to see, okay, I didn't stalk them or anything, but I drove by a couple times to see what type of neighbors they are. My neighbors are great, but there's been houses for sale that, my family's grown a little bit, so we need to upgrade our house, upgrade more space. There's been houses come for sale, but I know the neighbors next to them or be around them, and I'm like, I don't want to live there because I know certain issues that are already there, basically. So it's like, how are we supposed to say, yes, you bought your house knowing that everything around you was A2, but then all of a sudden we're going to change everything and up in their way of life. So that's where I'm coming from. Again, this is a rezoning issue versus a permit issue. My zoning board member voted against it. You mentioned we put members. I put my member there. I do trust her judgment and her research and everything, and my member voted against it. I can't speak on anybody else, but I took probably 10 calls over the past, I guess now month, all against it. So That's my view on this. And since you called me out, I basically had to respond on some of that. I want to clear up. Okay, I guess I got cut off.
I'm sorry. I thought you finished. Can you turn it back on for me, please? Yeah, you stalled.
So like I said, I want to clear up some of the things that was said that we never do this. Yes, you have been coming to meetings for the past year. And yes, we have approved pretty much, I think, almost every RV park. But they are already zoned that way. Most of them. We have rezoned some. But that was, and again, I voted based on how my zoning board member goes. But again, you're saying that we never denied rezoning. We denied one in Diamond 2 weeks ago, and we denied one in Oakville a couple months ago because the residents did not want it. We listened to the residents, and in those cases, my zoning board member voted against those. So I'm sticking to what I've always said. I yield.
Mr. Clark, at the beginning of your last speech, you mentioned that we are voting for our friends and families. I just want to put it on the record that I don't know anybody who has an RV park. You know, they're not my friends, they're not my family, so I want to make that clear. Okay.
That wasn't directed at you.
Well, it seemed to be directed all the way across. We met before you purchased the last parcel of land. And I said it was a bad business decision, but it's not for me to counsel you on your business, you know. I think this was a bad business decision as well, you know, because you put the cart before the horse. And I hate to see you lose money, but my zoning person voted against it. And he called me, and we talked about why. And a big portion of it is because of the effect that it might, it's isolated. It is spot zoning, but it is also about how it might affect the residences, the people that are actually living there. And I had talked with the lady who has children as well. And I don't know, maybe Mr. Boudreau would know, but I don't know what the percentage of arrests are for people who might have ill intentions. And that's not really a factor in this, but I wanted to tell you that I think that's why she spoke up. And I guess it has to be rhetorical since you can't come up, but I'm curious why you haven't put at least 2 trailers to test it out and to let the residents know how those people would behave. You know, he can come up and answer? Okay, do you want to answer? Do you want him to? Only that question.
Well, you asked about the 2 trailers because, one, I've got to have the trailers, serial number, owners, license, who owns everything, where they were built before they even come.
Regardless.
You have to do that for the zoning board to get 2 spots. So I'm going to get 2 trailers and all the information, the owner, where he bought it from. Have you ever seen the zoning to get 2 spots? I don't know how they're getting 2 spots because you have to come up with 2 trailers before you get 2 spots. That's a problem we have in the zoning board. There would be 2 trailers there. No, that's 2 spots. I went to the zoning board quite a few times, believe me, that's what I was told. I've got the paperwork at home.
So you answer a question. Next, Pat.
Okay, well, I have heard about people trying to go through the process, but I don't know about the process personally. And maybe I'll look into that, but it's not a factor here. Anyhow, I just wanted to mention a few comments. I yield.
Donovan.
Yeah, you got to go to the permit office to get the permit before you start building the 2 lots. Some people do it before, but that's another story. Look, I understand people don't want certain things next to their houses, and but your $1 million house and my $60,000 trailer, same thing. I've been living on, my family's been on the lands for over 6 generations, since the 1700s. And did we want the parish to come in and take property from us and build a sewage plant? No, we didn't. We didn't have a say. But I believe if I have property, I should be able to do almost anything I want to it as long as it's not encroaching on your property. It's not going to pollute your property or anything like that. And, you know, the last time this come up, the ethics board got a call and somebody reported me, and I got a letter in the mail from them saying I shouldn't be voting on trailer park issues because I own a trailer park. I've never owned a trailer park in my life. My girlfriend owned a trailer park. I didn't make a penny off of it. And, you know, I was pretty mad about it and still am. And that's why I've been abstaining from any trailer park issues. Thank you.
Well, let me just say this, my position from day one, I have so many people who have called me about this, and it's amazing how convenient people want to use stuff. I stood on the zoning board for years, and I stood to this council, and I said, I've seen where the zoning board voted on one thing, and the governing council voted against it. Now, after the last zoning board, everybody said, Rev, you're right. I even talked to one of the Becknells who called me. And I said, no. You don't change the position. To me, this is unfair in every kind of way. How my zoning member voted, he voted this way. Mr. Brock, my zoning board member, I don't tell him how to vote. I was on the zoning board for about 12 years. Mr. Bartholomew, Mr. Beshew, Mr. Griffin told me how to vote, because that's my right. That's why you permitted. And so I'm just saying this whole thing stinks because we do spot zoning, we do all kind of stuff. When I first, before I even voted on this issue, I took a ride down the road. And I think I questioned the Becknell that I saw that there was a trailer park there before they put their house. That was my understanding. This whatever that fancy trailer park name, I can't think of the name of it, it was there already. So I'm just saying that the stuff that we're using, to me, is just to justify a vote. Vote the way you voted. But some of the stuff I'm saying just not adding. To me, this thing because if you're going to say the zoning board is it, and I'm not going back to question how a person voted, coerced to say that, then I can say that every time we do something up here, we being coerced. Because why are we changing our position? Are we being coerced too? Because if the same thing about the zoning board, that could say we're doing it. Nobody on this board, council, can convert me. I'll take my position on my position, I'll hold it, because that's my right. But I just say this, the whole swan song for it, majority of people who was last time saying, we got the zoning board, let's go to the zoning board. But here now, we find all kind of ways of saying the zoning board is wrong. You know, I'm just saying right is right, wrong is wrong. Talking about who lived next to you and saying we're doing this because one man, you know, acting like Mr. Clark is coming in and brought up. I mean, you got the PVOC, people got so many trailers. No way in comparison to this, but nobody said something about one man buying up. To me, all the arguments are saying, you didn't do this for your neighbor. Did we ask other people? Did they put through stuff for their neighbors? I mean, we got double standard. This is so much a double standard involved in this whole piece that is just unbelievable. I'll take the same position that the zoning board made their decision. I'm going to stick to what the zoning board said, because that's what everybody said, the zoning board. Well, it's the same zoning board. It haven't changed. So my thing, I think this is wrong that we're doing to Mr. Clark. I totally think it's wrong, and I'm holding my position, you know, is that I'm definitely voting yes to support this issue. Mr. George.
Yes, and I want to talk about the zoning board for 1 second, because at that meeting, we go there to listen, and the zoning board listens to whatever they have on the agenda. That meeting, we got way off the agenda. We talked about property that got turned down 2 years ago, year and a half ago, whatever it was. That should have not happened. Point of order should have been called by one of the zoning board members saying, we're here to discuss this and only this. Don't give us a history about who said what and why they said it, because there was certain attacks to several council members. And that should have never happened. Should not have been allowed. So our zoning board, we need to get with that zoning board. They need to tighten up. They need to tighten up. And that's my disgust with, with this whole thing. They can all come together, but no, we get way off in the weeds and nobody calls point of order. Here we'll call point of order if it gets too far in the weeds. I had to express that because I didn't plan to speak that day, but I had to get up and speak because I was offended by what happened. So I just wanted to put that on record, that the zoning board needs to stick to the subject at hand. Don't go back on what wasn't approved a year and a half ago. That wasn't relevant. That's all I have.
Anyone else on the table? Machine is open. And it fails, it passes 4 with 3 yes, Champagne, Gouy, Edwards, 2 abstain, LaFran and Konovich, and 4 yes, Mr. Schultz, McCarty, Newsom, and Mr. Jewett. Next item, please.
B, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, coastal zone levy general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I'm sorry. Been offered. I offered it, so you second it. It's been seconded by Mr. Konovich. Any comment? Oh, you standing up to?
I'm getting ready. Thank you, because I'm so excited. I got employees coming.
Okay. Tell her again. It's on you now. You've been over the second. Yes, it is. It's on you.
No, I just wanted to say thank y'all. I got my 4 employees coming, so now I need to hire my equipment so I can get them to work. And like I said, there's going to be 2 on the East Bank, 2 on the West Bank, and we're going to be knocking down some of these discretions that I have in my levy system, and so they'll start playing nicer with us.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions about anything? Y'all help me with the list, so, because honestly, I don't know what any of this is.
You good. You good.
Thank you.
Now stand up, because I don't know what Patty wanted. What she wanted to ask.
Patty, don't ask me about the equipment, what they do, because I honestly don't know. I know what a truck is,
Chance, let us see. She might surprise you.
and that's it.
Actually, my question is about the employees, because I know that we've had trouble hiring people and having them pass the civil service exam. Did you do it through civil service or through an outside contract?
No, I did it through civil
really?
service. Everyone that I saw, because I've been going to town hall meetings, I've been thanking y'all. I thought y'all did something for us, because all of a sudden I walk in and I have 4 employees, and she approved them, and I signed off on them, and
Excellent.
I was quite excited.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Yield.
I'm sorry, Mr. Conover.
How many tractors does coastal zone own right now?
I was told, how many, Billy? I have 3. They're green or blue?
I know one was blue. I don't know about the other.
I don't actually have them. We don't utilize them.
But,
So, but I think we have some. Are they blue?
Mr. Konovich,
I know one was blue for sure, but now how many tractors you wanting to buy?
Well, if I have 3 and I can get those back, I mean, I think they're already being utilized by other people and they have the keys to them. I don't want to put another department in a bind. You stole them, Billy?
Well, what is she going to use the tractors for? So
I need to cut levees. I need to cut a lot of grass, but I need to fill holes. So I need stuff to fill holes. So I can have my tractors back, Billy?
tractors don't fill holes, but
All the other stuff I'm asking for does.
some of it does.
At least I hope.
I think what this is going to be doing, it's going to, I mean, even though we still use these 3 tractors with prom, I mean, and the 3 with the levy department, they're all going to be busy. I mean, this not like these tractors should be sitting on the side of the road. Although you do see some sitting on the side of the road because of manpower.
But us,
you know. So here we are. We've got manpower now, and so.
If she's going to have 4 people cutting levees, what are our people going to do?
They're probably going to be cutting levees. We have, what, 300 miles of levees. You know what we've got here.
To help, but also,
you
my
help
gosh,
cut.
I want to
Hold on, one at a time, please. So
And also, some of these, I mean, because I have operators also. So the main thing is, of course, we're always going to need Billy's help to help cut the grass of everything that we have. But for them to also do inspections, and if they see a hole, if they see something that's not right, they'll have the ability to go and grab something else and fix it before the Corps comes to inspect it.
And
We're trying to be a little proactive.
what are we doing with this marsh buggy bush hog that we bought that I wasn't for? Are we going to sell that?
It's going to Beerus next Wednesday.
I'll use it. Don't worry about that. But that's what we're doing. I'm good, thank you.
Mitch.
Thank you.
I want to just say, I get complaints about levees not being cut. So all this is going to do is help us keep up a little better. You know, before in the past when Prom was trying to cut levees, roads, and even though we took some of the road stuff and contracted it out, we still can't keep up with these levees, especially in the summertime. They overgrow. So this is, and you got the manpower to do it. I think we can keep our parish looking really neat and clean. Look at levees when they get cut. Rev's levees on the East Bank, I mean, they like a lawn, you know?
They are nice.
So that's what I am definitely for more. If you got the workers and we get the equipment, let's keep beautifying Plaquemines Parish.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And also keep in mind, the greater goal here is to accreditate our levies. So the more that we can keep fixing them and stay up to date, be a little proactive instead of constantly reactive, it can only help Plaquemines Parish in the long run. Maybe our insurance rates go down. Maybe we can stop elevating our homes 18 feet in the air.
Mr. Champagne.
Hey, Ms. Buck, one of the things you didn't mention is a conversation we had, and you really impressed me with your tenacity on maintenance, because remember the first thing we talked about was we're going to spend a lot of money on equipment, and we spend the people's dollars, and you, before I could even finish, you would cut me off saying, no, I'm a cheapskate, and I don't want to have to keep buying stuff. I want to take care of it, and I'm committed to maintaining our equipment. So I just wanted to rehash that conversation. You convinced me with that, because I think that's a problem we've seen in the past with equipment not being taken care of, and you convinced me otherwise. So I just wanted to make that, state that for the public, and I think that's very important that we take ownership of our equipment and make it last. So thank you.
And also personal accountability. If this is your tractor, look at it before you get on it. When you bring it back to its location it's supposed to be, check it out, see if it needs gas, if it needs oil. We need to start taking a little bit of a vested interest into what we have so we don't keep buying things over and over. And if we take care of them, they'll last longer.
And you've assured me you're going to do that, so I wanted to make that public, so thank you for that.
Thank you. That I am.
Any other comments from? Oh, I'm sorry.
Blue or green?
Well, green is my favorite color, but I mean, I'll stick with whatever color I have now.
Favorite, so leave it right there. You're in agreement, don't?
Right, that's what I got.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, just a, this is for equipment, not tractors.
Correct.
So this does not,
Yeah,
No.
yeah, no, that's the truth.
it's only 25,000. You ain't gonna get a tractor for 25,000.
Mini dump truck, the flatbed, you got that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm done.
So yes, 1 mini dump truck, flatbed, track loader, crawler dozer, backhoe, batwing rotary motors, and 1 F-250 regular cab. You can get a green one, a green truck. So that's the list. The 25,000 is for the batwing mowers. Gotcha.
I gotta say, I wouldn't mind that either. I tell myself frequently, I look good in orange, but not stripes.
So we good with any other person, administration? Machine open for voting? And it passes 9-0.
Let's get those levies fixed.
Thank y'all so much.
I
And
would
that's
like
what it's
to-
all for. Thank you.
Can I suspend the rule and take something out of order and bring up? I mean, huh?
You can take wherever
Okay,
you go.
I would like to take out of order and go to G and take G up right now.
I believe G was supposed to be deferred.
G, the letter G, no.
A
No, the people
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry, I got it confused with the port.
No,
I got
no, they're here.
A resolution confirming the,
So I want to go to item G.
a resolution confirming the appointment and nomination of Attorney at Law Stephen F. Babin by the parish president to be a hearing officer for the abatement administrative adjudication proceedings pursuant to and in conformity with Chapter 24 of the Parish Code of Ordinances, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Gooey.
Second by Councilman Schultz. Any comments from the audience? Administration?
This the abatement officer
Hearing officer.
of Arthur Henry Belchase. How this guy gonna get compensated?
Administration? Yeah.
No, we appropriate. What do you mean accused?
People need to know.
Actually,
No, let's go.
is my mic on?
Yeah.
I'm Jacques. I'm with the parish attorney's office, sir. Obviously, there will be compensation through the parish. However, that can be recouped from the hearings with any fines and fees that may be associated with any penalties that are assessed. So these monies can flow back to the parish. It's part of the reason why we need to have these hearings, not only make sure that people's properties are safe, pools are maintained, and grass is cut, but also...
Wait, back up a little bit. You say the money gonna come from the parish first?
That's correct. It's not.
All right, okay, let the people know.
That's what I said. It can be reimbursed via the hearings.
Fast on. All right. And does it stay the salary?
And Mr. Henry, so yes, it's coming through the parish first. However, we did receive an LDH grant that is paying for this. So it's really state money going through the parish.
How
It's
much?
paying for this. I don't know how much. I don't know. It was 300,000, I think, to the whole code enforcement. Well, no. That's for all code enforcement. That pays for him, the inspectors that goes out, the paperwork. That's the budget for the whole department. Because this is through a professional services agreement type deal, so it's not an actual salary. It's based on as needed, hourly rate and all that. I don't have that information, but it is an LDH grant for 2 more years, I think. And then at that time, hopefully we have enough money from the fines and fees that Mr. Jock talked about that will pay for it going forward. So it is nothing at cost to the parish through that grant.
So when the grant is over, and you don't have enough money to them, then the parish got to come up with the.
If
Yeah,
if there's not enough money
let's
for the fees,
throw it all out here. Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
work that
throw it out here, man. The people need to know that at some point, parish gonna have to pay. That's all. Just tell it like it is.
You're going to have like a blistering 6 hearings, probably.
William Kohler with the Parish Legal Department. I want to introduce to you Mr. Stephen Babin, who will be your abatement officer. Stephen spent 20 years with the Attorney General's office, and he will be actually a more of a part-time person. He's only going to conduct abatement hearings. He'll do the investigation, work up the hearing, conduct the hearing, so he'll be paid on an hourly basis whenever he actually conducts a hearing. Anybody have any questions?
You want to speak, sir?
Yeah, I just want to thank the council for letting me be here. I want to thank the parish president for nominating me to be the hearing officer. I've looked at the ordinance, the abatement ordinance. I know you're all anxious to get this going, and the ordinance is very well written, both legally and procedurally. It's pretty solid. So if I get voted on, I'm ready to get going. I think as far as the money goes, I think it's the hearings are probably only going to be at the most once a month. So I don't think you're talking about that much. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Carty?
Mr. Babbitt?
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, Mr. Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what y'all talking about or what kind of law he is.
What's happening is, remember, we passed the ordinance to deal with abandoned buildings.
A blighted property.
So you have to have a hearing officer.
Mm-hmm.
So if people come and saying, I'm being treated unfairly, they would have a hearing officer that they can go to and hear the case. And so he will be the hearing officer.
All right. I've been telling some of the people on the East Bank from Pronahas to Phoenix about that we got to keep our properties clean. Blighted property got to be taken care of because there's a new man in town. I'm finally seeing him. And he's going to be going around and people say...
He's not
going to be going around, but he's going to have a crew. Somebody going to be taking pictures.
Going around that's going to go out and do things. They might even one person with a Zoom, what all these things?
Drone.
Looking at stuff. So his role is just dealing with the hearing.
I know.
So don't make him the man yet.
Yeah, all right. The people saying you can't compare us against Bell Chase. You can't compare us against Post Alpha because Pronahas, we have problems. Billy do a good job of trying to keep more clean on the highways and stuff like that, but people still have yards that still have debris from past storms.
And Mr. Brock, you know, we've had this conversation, and I might be 2 months older than you, but again, we understand that each area have its issue. But there's certain things that's still prevalent everywhere in terms of dealing with litter where people can do better. And so that's why we got a hearing officer so people can't say that they're being treated different. And I'm sorry, what's your name again, sir? I looked at his resume and I see the impeccable. From what I read, I think he would be a fair person. So if somebody can come up and say, wait a minute, Belcher is doing this, you're doing this, I think he would consider that. So I just want to let you know that, and this councilman, when we had this conversation, I was letting them know that these banks have particular situation with family-owned land and succession, and one person paid a tax, but the other person live on a property, don't pay tax. So I'm telling you, most everything you're saying will be considered, and he would take all those things into consider. That's why I think one of the moves was not just getting anybody to be the hearing officer. So I think Tarini and other people, I want to take my hat off on them to bring someone in who really experienced, you know, at being fair and equity. And I think that this gentleman would take in all the things that you and I have been saying, that he would look at the situation for what it is.
All right, because I remember one time they're saying they're going to be looking for cars and vehicles that's been broke down for forever. If those people get them cars running again, remember they've been running all the way to Bell Chase, all the way to Post Alpha, because people live.
But Mr. Brown, we got some cars in the East Bank of the river that should have been moved 30 years ago. And so again, and I've already talked to people on East Bank. I said, you know, you got to get this junk going. You know, so as you've been talking, I've been telling people too that there's certain excuses we're not going to tolerate from that. But I think this gentleman going to do the right things, the hearing officer, and you yourself can come and be their witness to testify when we're at the hearing. So if you hear somebody coming up, you know, then you can come and be the Calhoun. I mean, not the Calhoun, but be their lawyer.
I will do that, Ralph.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But I know people are not happy about this because if they could keep it clean, they would. But they say they can't do it. And also y'all say also that the parish going to be able to have parish workers to come help them get it down, and they got to keep it down. Y'all said it now. Y'all can't go back on that. Y'all said y'all going to be Billy,
Billy told you that?
Billy, you said y'all come on private property and help people get down because they can't afford it?
No, I don't
Okay.
think anyone is saying that. Again, let me just say this to Mr.
We need to get a program to get somebody to help some people because I can't do it all. Because they say for me to go do it.
Well, you are doing it, so you.
I am doing it.
Because I sent them to you, and so you're gonna be real busy to helping a lot of people.
All right.
'Cause let me just say that someone live on the East Bank. We have people, and Tasha over there can tell you right now. We got some people who really scream and holler for some blighted property. For people who from the East Bank, on property, and got money that can move their property. So I'm not giving people a pass just because they live on the East Bank. I've made it clear to people at the council, I would hold firm on this. There's some area of the East Bank that people are neglected on. I understand there's some hardship. I understand that we'll deal with hardship, but there's some things that ain't got nothing to do with hardship. That's just people that's the way it is, and that's the way it should be. And I'm just saying, personally, I'll stand on my position as a council. I'll stand on my position as supporting this ordinance. I'll stand on my position as supporting this gentleman if he's hired, because we got to make some changes, and East Bank got some changes. Tasha could tell you, the people that come, even with the help given to them, still refuse to do it. So we will take that again. I will let you know you can come at the hearing or at the backup if you need it, but we have to do this. And we can't just say that the East Bank, I know Mr. LaFrance, got people in this area. We know there's a thing called hardship, but there is some things just being neglectful.
All right.
And we can't have that.
I got one more question.
I wanted to.
I got one more question. If somebody, I got one more question. If somebody cannot, if they tell somebody have blighted property and y'all tell them.
Sorry, the time is up. We calling for the question.
But my time,
Yeah, your time. You went way past time. And
y'all count the time y'all was talking and I'm listening.
But your time is up. Really.
All right.
Thank you. So we calling for the question. Kill the machine. Oh, it's open. Okay. We'll call for the question. The machine is open. 9-0. Welcome. Yes.
Thank y'all.
I hope I never see you. And I would like to report that since we approved everything and put the budget that we have had, other than the RV code enforcement areas, we have had 30 complaints addressed, and the letters are going out.
Okay.
So within another 30 days, we'll know if we need you or not.
Okay.
And I hope we don't.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
As
Thank you,
needed.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Can we revert back to the original order of the agenda?
C, a resolution to appoint the members whose term has expired on the Coastal Zone Advisory Committee and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
We have a change. On line 21, we're removing Avery Riley Jr. and we're inserting Jacques Tuzet.
Been offered second. Any comments from the audience, administration? Are you making a comment? No, I'm.
To it, and he can serve on the board.
You don't want to.
I don't know if he's talking about me, but.
Kim, are you up to say something?
Nope, just getting ready.
Any other comment? Machine is open.
Press that button there, buddy.
Schultz, you voting? And it passes 7-2 with a extension by Champagne and Schultz.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item.
D, a resolution to create a policy for any business that uses large quantities of water shall be required to have their own tap installed at their respective place of business and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
Second Ms. Patty? McCarty. Audience? Table?
Yes, this, what we're doing here is businesses that have been in, a permanent and seem like they've been doing business here for long periods of time. Some of these businesses have been using, the flow meters with the, off the fire hydrants. And if you're going to do business in the parish, you're going to be permanent or even long-term temporary, which I'd say is years or something, you should be required to get a commercial tap put in and stop pulling off the fire hydrants. It's not a visually pleasing thing when people have water issues and they see these trucks pulling up the fire hydrants, and I'm not sure who's using water from these metered hydrants. So I wanted to offer this, and let's be mindful that there will be, once they go apply, they will be, once they go to the Infomark and ask for their meter, it's up to Infomark to get that meter in a timely manner. So that's what the reason I'm doing this is because it's time for these businesses to get their commercial meters. I yield.
Hold on, Ms. Buck.
Mr. Frank?
The only thing I'm concerned about when we're dealing with construction of our levees or renovating different pieces of levees, and they have to, how the company come out and they spray the seeds and they spray the hay over and they come in and get water and water the seeds and stuff. How would this affect?
Not at all.
Not at all? No. We'll be all right with it? Yes. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. News?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with this 100% because the numerous problems we've had with water in the parish from the southern end has been a lot, and we're working to get that fixed. But the question I got here is, it says uses large quantities of water. What does that really mean? Does anything, Mitch? Do we have a gallon figure, or what do we consider large? A truck? I'm just trying to. I want to be sure I know what I'm voting for.
Anything coming out of a hydrant is assumed to be high volume, so it's just the intent of a temporary flow meter is to be temporary.
Okay.
And we have people taking advantage of that, whether it's accidental or just circumstances.
And
we're trying to eliminate the long-term use of temporary meters on a fire hydrant.
So when this, if it passes, this becomes effect when the president signs it. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yeah.
So it could be whenever he signs. So
Yeah.
will the
It doesn't affect, in other words, let's say you're doing a huge development, right? And you need a 10-inch tap in 30 days. You go through all the processes, permitting, all that, but Infomark is not able to provide you that tap. You can still get water off that hydrant because it's not your direction causing that. So it doesn't affect anything like that. It is strictly to prevent people who can do different from doing so. These water trucks that pull water off the fire hydrants, if you come set up a temporary company and you're operating off just a piece of property with no building, no brick and mortar type structure, you own the property, you're leasing the property, nothing stops you from getting a tap and a water meter to have a permanent water pipe, water faucet, whatever size you need.
when we talking so the fire hydrants and here it says it's for emergencies, which of course we know what emergencies are, and then as deemed necessary by the water department. That's Infomark?
Yes.
So if Infomark says,
let's say they can't get the tap, right? So it might take 60, 90 days to get the tap. We're not going to turn their water off in 30 days. Yeah.
My answer, they said, well, if Infomark says you can use it, then you can use it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This doesn't go before the president. The resolution, I think, is needed.
There's a resolution.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Before getting, I would like Mr. Morgan to come up, because when this first came up, I called him and just to get his overall view on what we're doing here.
Robert Morgan, Infomark, 126 Flint Road. What you got, Reverend Edwards?
Yes, what's your?
Oh, I think it's good. Me and Jeff went over everything. We'll still be able to supply contractors that are coming in. We just gotta, we're gonna enforce a little bit better than what it was doing. Y'all had stuff on the books already, but the enforcement side wasn't there. So I think, what's that? Oh, yes, sir. I'm good with it.
Okay. Anybody else from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open for a vote. Waiting on the old man. And it passes. And it passes 9-0. Huh? You're not to know. Next item, please.
E, resolution author.
So 9E has been deferred. Next item.
F, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, resurface Highway 11 Empire to Triumph project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Oh, you're offering it? It's a second.
Change it.
Oh, change it further. Offer second with the changes. 14. Okay. It's been second. Any comments from the audience? Administration?
Met with the administration and the engineers today, and they was just going to do the Empire to Triumph, but for $1.2 million, I said, well, I'm getting a $5 million. He said, well, let's do from Diamond to Triumph, and we'll fix culverts and all what we need to fix, and the highway too.
As long as it fits within that budget.
Yep.
Right.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank Mr. Hobble for doing this. Really neat. I think somebody spoke at the early meeting. As we all are elected from districts, we represent the parish. And this is 2 years ago when we got in office, this was a problem, and this is a step in the right direction to start fixing that problem. We still need some, from the administration, we still need more money. So y'all go, I know the grant guys and other projects not here, but any dollars we can get for roads and stuff, thank you. Appreciate that.
Mr. Champagne.
Yeah, I spoke to the parish president this morning about this project, Councilman Kotnovich, we spoke earlier. And the one thing I want to make sure that we drive the point home is I don't want to hear the term value engineering in this. I know President Hinckley said, he committed to it. And I just want to make a public statement like we talked about. We're going to fix it right. If a culvert needs repairs, it's getting repaired. If a lift station needs to be repaired, we're going to fix it. I don't want to have to spend all this money and it's a 5-year fix when it should be a 20-year fix. So I'm committed to make sure this happens as well, and I appreciate you for leading this charge. I yield.
Machine is open for voting. And Mr. Kotnovich, the vote is 9-0. Next item, please.
H, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget, coastal zone management department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
France? France?
I'm sorry.
That's your tractor's day.
And it's been seconded by Mr. France.
My tractors.
And Mr. France offer, who's second? Mitch, huh? Oh, hold on, y'all talking about oranges right now, it's tractors, right?
Yes, sir. It's for 2 tractors. One West Bank, one East Bank. Since Billy stole not only my tractors, but my television in my office, too.
So, that's the summary, that's just. Oh, no, she was finished.
I'm finished.
Okay.
So I'm kind of confused. I thought earlier we had 3 tractors that are for coastal, and we had 4 employees. So that you said civil services hiring. So why do we need
I don't-
extra tractors?
I don't know.
You,
I honestly do not. I'm just reading it now.
So who put this on here? So can we defer this?
so can we defer this? Because
Yes.
I want to make sure we're just spending money correctly.
Wait. Wait.
Correct. So they're going to be taken over by coastal workers.
If you take 3 from Prom's going to have to replace theirs. So you can either buy them for coastal, you can buy them for Prom
Well, that's
later.
fine. I'd rather get them in the right
I would
departments.
assume that's
if
what
we're
this
if
is.
we're moving the Prom to coastal, then let's modify this ordinance and say for
And
Prom.
they were
instead of
purchased.
coastal.
They were
Or-
purchased through coastal, but Prom's had them since day one. There really wasn't a
so are we
coastal
not
back at that
transferring
time.
Those.
If
I just
she
wanna make
wants
sure we're
those
doing
3
this
transferred,
correctly and
yes,
they're going to the right
or she can
department.
buy new ones, whatever she recommends.
Because
It's up to her.
I don't want to. If we're going to keep them in Prom, that's fine, but we got to make clear of that, and,
Then,
and I'm
yes,
okay
we're going
with
to keep
coastal
those since I'm getting 2 new guys. I want 2 new pretty tractors that they have to keep up with and take care of and do maintenance on.
Yeah, so, okay, so we're going to keep the 3 in Prom and buy 2 new ones for coastal. Is
Correct.
that
We'll
what we're
just change the
agreeing to?
decal.
Okay,
I'm in agreement with that, yes.
okay, then I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure because based on comments earlier, I was like, wait, hold on, what's really going on?
Mr. Newsom?
Why?
Hold on, Mr. Newsom there. Mr. Newsom.
Because of the
has
funds that was
floor.
purchased with them? Those are old enough, you can do it. I think at most that's 12 months. You can't do it within 12 months. I had that with another situation, so I'm assuming.
Oh,
Let's, hold on. Defer it the next week, the next time.
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
If it was purchased with grant, I don't know how long ago they were purchased, but yeah, I don't know what it was purchased with.
I can look back in previous budgets and find that out.
We deferring this item, Mr. Schultz. Next item, please.
J, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan renovations, Braithwaite Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
We deferred aye. Deferred aye.
Just now.
Yes. Alfred,
A second.
a second. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table? Machine is open. Oh, Schultz, I'm sorry.
Cue back in.
I just was going to make where the public was aware, this is through the state. This one and the next one was money coming from the state that Representative Bro was able to get us through capital outlay, just for public knowledge that that's what's going on, and thank the state. I yield.
Thank you for the overview. Machine is open. Thank you for the change. Passes 9-0. Next,
K, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan quadplex grandstands project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
any comments from the audience? Administration? Table?
Yeah, I'd like to just thank Representative Bro for looking out for the parish and getting us some revenue for both the East Bank and the West Bank. I yield.
Okay, machine is open for voting. And this passes 9-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 firefighting capital outlay maintenance designation fund balance and the firefighting fund unreserved undesignated fund balance, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Second. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, Schultz.
I was just going to explain that this is moving some money from their undesignated into capital outlay because we have many buildings that needs work on it. So just move it into the proper designation and stuff, and also equipment that needs replacing, trucks throughout the parish. So this is just moving money from undesignated to capital outlay where they can then go and start doing some planning and stuff. I yield.
Machine is open for, outside.
Have they done anything with your building, Rev?
I'm sorry?
Have they done anything with the fire department over there? The building?
No, not yet. What they've done is move a trailer in the spot so they could begin to start doing the work, but nothing physically haven't happened yet. But we did meet over there with them, and they made a commitment. They met with the fire chief, so I'm just waiting on them to actually start doing some work.
They're still trying to, they're tidying up the plans, but the money's there, and they should start shortly.
Thanks for acting. Okay.
While we're talking about firehouses, I had a conversation with some people that are in the Bellchase Firehouse saying that we're trying to repair it, but they think that we're going overboard with the contractors that are working there. They said that they could have repaired it themselves if they had the supplies. And I'm just trying to be a steward of the money. I'm just wondering, could you give a report on the Bellchase fire hydrant on Engineers Road?
That one's still in design, but we've spoken at length with Mr. Butcher, and the renovations to that building is, in his opinion, is beyond the expertise of the firefighters.
Okay.
And we've had those conversations with them. They try and do as much as they can, but the renovations to that building really needs to be designed in a contractor's hands.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Schultz.
No, me first. I'm good.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yes, as Mr. Schultz just said, for buildings, and as Mr. Margot said, when I spoke to Mr. Butcher about this, what they are, I don't know if it's been done, but they were in the process of hiring a consultant, because we're talking about, I don't know, $40 million worth of, throughout the parish, $30 to $40 million worth of bill. So we really want to get a consultant and say, hey, this is what you need to attack. This is what we need to go, this direction, this direction. So I don't know if that's been done. I think it's still in the work. I think they are interviewing. And so there is plans of moving with a plan. They're coming up with a plan. They're not just throwing darts and we're going to get Bellchase. We're going down to Bootville. We're going to East. They're coming up with a plan. And I've asked him, when you come up with it, please present it to the council. And he assured me he will. With that, I yield.
Yes, follow-up to Ms. McCarty's. They do a lot of work. I was in Station 5, which is the one out here, and they were actually in the process of building new lockers and whatever instead of going by it. So they're doing a lot of stuff in-house. Engineers Road, trust me, that one is, I mean, they have been working on it in the past, but that one is needs major overhaul. So, and same thing on the East Bank. I know they try to patch things up over the years, but at a certain point, we got to hire people because it's beyond, we need professionals. So, and again, like Mr. Newsom said, they want to hire a consultant to put everything in priority list and basically get final numbers and move forward throughout the parish. I know Hava's telling me hurry up, so I'll yield.
Thank you, Mr. Congress.
Machine is open for voting. And it passed 9-0. Next item, please.
And will be deferred in an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, repairs, Diamond Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect. And will be deferred.
Yes.
Do we have any other deferred before? We ain't got that many
We're
things.
done.
do we?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
Withdrawn.
Which one?
P.
P, okay. So P is the only thing we have to worry about? So we, oh,
O, an ordinance to amend ordinance 656, which prohibits the erection of billboards along Highway 23 from the Plaquemines Jefferson Parish line up to the Alliance Refinery, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
can you, I'm sorry. You,
Nobody gave us any change.
We don't have anything at all.
From the parish line to the intercoastal canal. Yeah, maybe 300 feet.
So no, we want
Well, that's the other end.
So where it says Plaga Parish.
What was the other one? Where do you want to move it to?
I'll go to the
lower end. Oh, that was.
Platinum Parish, Jefferson Parish, line, and go to the intercoastal canal.
No.
Jefferson Parish line now, we want to move it to the canal.
What is it?
Yeah. Yes.
And what's the purpose of this? Why are we doing this?
It's a definite line. It's a definite line. And, we have one of our constituents, that would like to entertain about putting a billboard.
Yeah.
North of the canal.
North of the canal. Yeah, I spoke to you.
Someone came in years ago and created these lines and said no more billboards in this area with no pre-thought, nowhere to plan on that. And when you go and look at that area now, it already has several billboards and it's more of a conduct. This is the Engineers Road, Bell Chase Highway area. It's more of an industrial corridor, truck route. That's where billboards should be. Still keeps them out of the rest of Highway 23. You know, you're not going to have them down Highway 23 through Bell Chase down into Jesuit Band and all of that. It just affects that Engineers Road commercial corridor.
That include campaign?
No, this is just the, this is those big giant billboards, the big commercial billboards. I mean, if you have enough money, you could put an ad up there if you wanted to, I guess.
I'm just asking, you know. I can't afford no kind of stuff like that. If I decide to. Huh?
You offer with that change? Yeah. I'll second it.
So it's been motion by Mr. Strange, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open. Okay. And it passes 9-0. Next item.
Hugh, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, emergency generators, parish water treatment plants, and booster stations project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Ms. Second, motion and second. Any comments? Oh, Schultz?
Yes, I want the public to know, and Mr. Henry, what this is doing is, as everybody knows, we've got dinged over the last couple of years on water grades and so this is basically addressing part of that administrative order to buy two new generators, one for the East Bank. I forgot what, it's not in here, but one for the East Bank and one, you got the actual stations, but it's based Dalcor and what was the other one?
Empire Booster
Station. So this is addressing that administrative order to basically try to take care of some of that stuff. We're taking out the surplus fund. That was the whole purpose of the surplus fund, is to work on infrastructure projects throughout the parish. What? I yield.
Okay. Machine is open. Mitch?
That's Empire.
That's why I call you, man, because it's Empire. Schultz didn't call you, but I did, man.
I thought he wasn't finished talking yet.
Next item.
Or an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement.
I'm sorry?
I need to introduce.
We still.
Oh, you have a supplement?
No, you want to go back to the intro?
Or you want to introduce it?
No, we're going to, before, I have to announce for suspension before number 11 comes back.
Oh, you want to vote on it?
Because we're running.
I got S&T.
You want to suspend the rule, add item, okay. Patty want to amend the rule to add a,
Are we skipping the minutes? Oh,
Oh, so now, I thought this was a suspension.
It is a suspension. Well, it just has to be read before 11.
I didn't think so.
I don't understand.
Do we have to do it like
Not
that?
either, but whatever she says.
I don't think this is right what we're doing right now.
Right.
Right.
Where's Danny?
Hold, Danny, please.
Yeah, we're suspension.
Because it's something you want to introduce, right?
No, it
That's
is
all.
11.
It's 11. It is 11.
Suspension is 11.
Please read the minutes, Ms. Kim.
I sure will.
Please.
Approval of the minutes from the February 27th, 2025 regular meeting.
Ooh, machine is open.
Now we can do it.
Now we can do it.
All right. 11, new business. 11A, introduction of resolutions where suspension is being sought.
There we go.
A resolution to direct the parish administration to contract with the person currently trucking the earthen material from the canal dredging project on or near Woodland Highway, and to provide otherwise with respect thereto.
Been offered by,
To add to the agenda first.
we did. We want to add it to, we make a motion to add to the agenda, Patty Norton. That's what I'm saying right now. We want to, we adding to the agenda, we voting to add to the agenda, Patty, Ms. McCarty. What is it?
It's a resolution
Resolution.
to,
No, this one that we just had, Ms. Patty, resolution. Vote on to add, only to add. This is the vote just to add.
She did.
No, we just adding. Machine is open. She did. Yes.
Pay attention.
Schultz, GUI,
Add it to the agenda.
and it's been voted to add to the agenda.
Now we can read it.
Now.
A resolution to direct the parish administration to contract with the person currently trucking the earthen material from the canal dredging project on or near Woodland Highway, and to provide otherwise with respect thereto.
Offered, second by Condovich.
Suspension.
No. Oh, okay.
Just suspension. All right.
Call machine.
questions.
No
Vote.
question. Schultz, good, Schultz. And 8-1. Now we're voting on the resolution.
A resolution to direct the parish administration to contract with the person currently trucking the earthen material from the canal dredging project on or near Woodland Highway, and to provide with otherwise with respect thereto.
Been offered, second by Mr. Condovich. Champagne?
I would like to see the contract before we vote on this thing. I clearly don't know what it states. I mean, the contract must discuss what happens with the spoil material that's being removed from the site. And this is a valid concern, because if this is parish property, that is parish material, that should be parish property, not just put on private property. So I applaud her, Councilwoman McCarty, in looking at this. But again, we need to, I know time is short, but we need to look at who owns this material. And if it is in fact ours and the contract does not stipulate, we need to get our dirt. Because there are a lot of places we need fill material, a lot, right here on this complex for one. So even if it is being put somewhere else, we can get it back. But we need some clarity on this. I think the contract needs to be reviewed. Well, I think it might have been an oversight on all of our part, but we need to look at that and figure it out. And it's our property. I yield.
Nelson.
Yes, this all project came up through a grant that we all voted on for the with the joint, so again, this is with the with the base, excuse me. Basin 2, right, it all came, so I don't want to, I'm agreeing with Mr. Champagne. It might be in a contract that they get rid of the mud, and they can, that's at their discretion. I don't know if it says that, but I don't know if it does. So I would, by doing this, we might be overstepping a little bit here, in my opinion. Thank you.
I have a little bit of information, if you want me to go next. It's my understanding that the contract has been reviewed. The mud does not come to the parish. It was not in the contract. Ms. McCarty has had conversations with them, and they have came to a verbal agreement that they are willing to give us mud. This, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just giving us permission and saying, go talk to them about it and see if you can negotiate something, see if they'll give us mud. We both have agreed that they are more than likely to give up some of the mud because they have to get rid of it anyway, right? If they give us mud, it's going to depend on where we want the mud. They're not going to just, if they're within a certain area, they'll give it to you free. The further they got to go, the more they're going to start wanting to charge you. And they may say, sure, we'll give you all the mud you want, but it's $1,000 a load. So this just gives us permission to go talk to them, get the answers Miss Patty's looking for, and if we can get some dirt that she's wanting in her area, in her district, we'll get it.
I know, I just want to explain what's happening before all these questions. If you don't mind. You can go back in. Okay. So, for 3 weeks, I've been requesting to get a contract that would say that we don't have to pay for the mud later on if they give us the mud. I talked with the trucking company. He is giving the mud away to Mr. Gasquet because it is close by. The mud is coming from parish property. There is no resolution anywhere in our books that says that if property, natural resources, concrete, mud, whatever, comes, asphalt, comes from parish land, that the parish has the first right of refusal to say that we don't want it back. So they are going to finish this job before we get this passed if we don't try and look at this now and have the parish go see what we can do. I was told that if we deposit the mud anywhere along Woodland Highway, which would include here, they can deliver it for free, but I would have to pay if they want a transfer fee if they wanted to deliver it further, because he doesn't incur a cost to deliver it to Gasquet. So I think it's terrible of us not to have first right of refusal for any land, whatever, natural resources that are coming out of Plaquemines Parish and giving it to a private developer when we could use that land, that mud, for our parish. And personally, I would like to put it in Fort St. Leon because I'm trying to build a park there. And there's going to be more than what we need for that park. But I would have to pay for that transportation through the park fee if I did that. There's land over there that we could put a park.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to touch you. You true? I'm sorry. Mrs. Schultz.
I got cut off earlier. So, I don't disagree with you on that it's our dirt and stuff, but I got some concerns on. You talk to the contract, the dump truck driver, but does that mean that we can just do, like, because he said it's okay? I mean, my thing is that legal just because he says it's okay? What does the actual contract say?
He gets the mud.
Okay. I mean, you came and talked to me earlier today. I said I 100% agree that we should have first right of refusal on our mud, our dirt, whatever. But then we're talking about first right of refusal, but then we're talking about where it's talking about this particular project. These needs to have, to me, two separate ordinances, one ordinance and one resolution for future versus what currently is going on. And then it might be better if that's the okay. Bring the mud out here, and then we can deal with it at a later date because PROM might be able to transport it to where it needs to go. I'm like, for the time being, if we're trying to rush it through, move it out here somewhere, then move it at a later date. I think no, if we do this, I know, but move it out here versus trying to say, put it in a certain spot, because I think there's so much gray area on some of this, because I just got approached about this today, and I thought it was going to be an introduction. We will have more time to look into it. But I get your concern that you're trying not to lose it. But I think that's the best. Bring it out here for the time being, and then we can decide where to put it at that point. And it all depends on legal, what the contract says. I haven't even looked at the contract, so I can't. I mean, I'll support it, but ultimately, legal has to make sure everything's legal. I yield.
News.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You got a spot out here to put it?
I'm sure we could find a spot to put it.
And
Look, my two things.
yes, sir.
This just gives us permission to go talk to them, right? We have zero authority to say we want that mud. This is that federal grant money.
Correct.
The contract does not say we have first right of refusal. It is not our mud. It does not come back to us. Most things we look at are a money-saving effort. Highway 11, all that junk concrete and pieces of mixed up asphalt, that saved the parish money, so we allowed them to give us that and stockpile it in home place. Crushed asphalt, if they go grind up a bunch of streets to get that, it brings value to us. So when we request that in the contract, we repurpose that. This mud can be repurposed, but I don't even think, we didn't have anything to do with that contract to begin with. So that's probably why we didn't get first right of refusal. Most of the time, we do have the option to choose that. You don't think? Okay. All the ones I've been involved with, we did. We decided to take it or not. But, so.
Look, I just don't want to get in the weeds on a.
Now, two things. Let me say this first. Remember, where they're working right now right off of Woodland, they have to go all the way around that turn, all the way darn near to the Intercoastal Canal. They're going to be there a while hauling mud. And every time it rains, that shuts them down. So we know it's going to rain this weekend a little bit. That's going to shut them down probably early next week. But we can go talk to them, and you just have to give us the contacts you already talked to. We don't go out there and reinvent the wheel. And we'll see what they're willing to do. But again, look, I disagree I don't think we should be buying our own mud back from them, though. So just FYI on that, I won't support that. Yeah, if they want to bring it here at no cost, that's one thing. I don't think we should buy our mud.
Ms. Conover, you're next.
Well, if they're giving the mud away to Cascade, I don't see the problem with telling them, say, hey, if you're giving it away, come put it over here. And that's it, you know.
It's their prerogative. We can't
it's their
make them do
mud.
that. We can ask,
It had
but we
to
can't
say
tell
it
them.
in the contract that you dig the canal, it's your mud, you got to get rid of it. They're getting paid for it.
That's what it says. It's their mud.
So, France?
Yes, well, we need to start putting in this, in our contract, that we have the first right of refusal. Because I knew we had a project in Magnolia, that pumping station, thousands and thousands of yards of dirt that was given away. And we have a lay-down yard where we could have put it at right there by the water plant in Point Lab that we lost out. We lost out on a lot of dirt that we need.
That was before me.
The concrete that I have in Diamond Park, we got that straight off the levee. And that concrete don't have no rebar in it. That's why it would be easy for a crusher. And this is all the material that we be giving away, that we neglected on. Not y'all, but previous administration. So we are losing out. So, and we need to get together and start putting this in these
Again,
contracts.
and this wasn't our contract, so
Right.
this is an exception to the rule. It's
Yeah.
not the rule.
Okay, I yield.
Back to
When I talked to the administration about Highway 11, I put that in there, that we get any material comes off the road. Well, no, they got to get rid of it. But if I wanted it, it comes to us, and it's in
We
the
have to
contract.
negotiate it into a contract.
Yeah.
It's just like them demoing the bridge. We don't automatically get the Belchase Bridge. That was,
Because I already asked for the Belchase Bridge, and I haven't heard back from them.
When you start rebuilding our services of road, we ain't talking to the
Mr. France, remind you to Mr. Gouy, who was in order to come.
I'm sorry, Doc.
You finished?
Yes, sir.
I'm good. So, I haven't seen anything, except Patty gave me some paper the other day while there was a discussion, so I didn't get to read it. But did you say that this has been run by legal and everything is okay?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not doing anything wrong. Miss Patty just would like to reap some benefit from that
No,
job.
what we're doing now, do we have to do it now, or can we introduce it and get a little more information?
That's strictly.
Is there a time limit? I mean,
I understand her yeah. It's urgent for her that the material will run out. I don't think it will.
okay.
That's just me.
If I would say is that I'm just confused of the process. I just think that this is something that legal somebody should do. When I first became councilman, I saw people doing some work. And I went out as a councilman, and one thing I was told, I was outside my lane, that should be something for administration to negotiate. So it seemed like to me, this is something that administration and legal should do, and then bring us to that. I understand Patty wanted to get something to everybody. We should have a process who do negotiation.
Yeah.
The fact
I'm
that
sure we do. Usually, whoever's negotiating the contract does that, which is typically engineering.
Okay, that's all.
This is not our contract. So Ms. Patty's asking for a secondary just to go to the contract and say, as a courtesy, will you give us some of that dirt? That's what she's asking.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with the contract.
I'll go with Mr. Good. I recommend that we just do this, come back and have the administration to come back and give us something
Well,
with
then
clarity.
I need to offer it for an introduction so we can come out.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Okay, let's take it as is.
Nope, they're gonna do
I'll call for the vote.
Call for the question. Call for the
Vote how you
question.
feel.
Call for the question.
You know the guy?
Schultz? And it passes 8-1 there.
Doc, you don't like dirt?
No.
You know, Doc ain't gonna explain, so you never do something to pick it in there. Next item, please.
Item 11B will be withdrawn. Item C, District 8 update, water issue update. Councilmember Jurisich.
Yes, I'll be very quick with this. I want to say that, we had a lot of issues the past couple weeks, but as of the last 3 or 4 days, I appreciate the work, by our crews and everybody. We're back up to normal water pressure. Well, it's a little higher than low now, but no, I really appreciate what, the efforts from the contractors and everybody working together to try to make this happen. We're getting some good news from the Port Sulphur water plant. So I just want to say, everything we've been through is very frustrating, but we are very thankful that we're back up and running.
Thank you, Mitch. Next item.
D, District 6 update, DNR loan and bond for pumping station repairs.
You mean, Mr. Edwards, please?
You are.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes. We spoke about pumping stations earlier, so I don't believe we need to rehash this issue. So, I'll withdraw this item.
Next item.
E, District 7 update on shells removed from home place, update on contract for Diamond Park, update of sweeping of ditches, update on platform on update for solar panels at Grand Bayou, David Vitters, contract termination.
Mr. LaFrance.
Miss Ashley and Mr. Billy, I want to thank y'all for having Diamond Park ready for that Mardi Gras parade we had in Diamond. The park really looked nice, and the people in the community, we enjoyed it. I yield. Thank you again.
So that's the only thing you're talking about?
That's it.
Withdraw?
Yeah.
You gonna withdraw all the other stuff?
No.
Okay. No, you had a whole bunch of stuff on you.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Yes, I yield. I yield.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Machine is open. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Call the end of the meeting. Call the end of the
I'm sorry. At 5:15, the Blackman County Council meeting
Yeah.
in